meet.go.com/town of Sturbridge/conservation. In order to call in, dial 1-646-749-3122. Use access code 819-169-093. Please remain mute at all times except when speaking. Thank you. Okay, we're going to have call to order. Roll.
Eric Gaspar, present.
Ed Goodwin, present.
San Germano present.
Carsten Stuber present.
With a new haircut.
You haven't approved.
All right, we don't have any walk-ins?
We do, actually.
All right.
Just as I thought that this was going to be most appropriate at the beginning of the meeting, but Chris Nolan from Park Corp has an update on the podunk remediation. So we have an interim report, and he's here to kind of go over that and just give an update
All right,
on that
great.
project.
Bring 'em up.
Yeah, very briefly, we went out, we
Do you want to go
performed.
over here?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right, I need to be recorded.
yeah. Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, what was your name again?
Christopher Nolan,
Thank you.
Power Corporation.
Yeah.
The work has been performed. The seeding has been done in the resource area. It was a little bit strange because we had assumed that, and I think if you roll through some of the pictures, the during construction pictures, you'll see what the biggest problem was. There was an area in the buffer zone, not in the resource area itself, where, right there, that picture right there. We had always assumed that the deposition of the roofing material was at grade or on grade. Apparently, somebody had gone down to the end of the road and, again, in the buffer zone, not in the resource area, and dug a hole. So instead of having 35 cubic yards of ACM, we had about 120 yards of ACM. So, again, within the right-of-way, all the material has been removed. It has been reseeded. I was down there yesterday. The wetland mix is beginning to take hold in all the areas that were covered with asbestos. I have indicated, as you can see right there, there was a lot of junk in those piles. So the work is complete. The reseeding has been done. It's starting to germinate now. Again, I checked yesterday, and let's hope for some gentle rainstorms over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and we should be in pretty good shape by the middle of next summer. I think we'd be hopefully coming in for a certificate of compliance. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
So, as a practical matter, this is, I assume you're going to be coming up afterwards and asking, yeah. But as a practical matter, does this satisfy our biggest concern around this? It does.
The work itself has been completed. The grass is taking root, so that's why it's not prepared to request a certificate of compliance at this time, because I would usually recommend for the ground to be stabilized again and vegetation to grow, even though we know that that area is going to go back in and get redisturbed anyway with the tree removal and the line replacement.
Yep.
But I think that this is a significant improvement on the site, especially now that we know what was there. There's still a lot of debris on the private property outside of the right-of-way, and hopefully maybe there could be some opportunities to help that homeowner get some of this cleaned up, because I think that, I know Chris had spoken with that homeowner about how many tires does he have on his property?
I'm sorry again?
The property owner that has tires?
Yeah, I can't remember the number of tires. We took out a large number of tires which went to Allied. I think it was several hundred, and there are a lot of extra tires in the woods. The tires are on a private homeowner's, a lot of the tires are on a private homeowner's property.
Yeah, so hopefully there might be an opportunity down the road to be able to work with that homeowner, and, maybe help him find a grant or something to get that portion of it cleaned up. But from what we own and in our area, I think that this is a tremendous improvement. And, like you said, we thought that it was all on the top, and then we realized how deep it is, but now, it's out of there, and there's not asbestos leaking into those wetland resource areas.
From the right-of-way.
From the
I
right-of-way.
can't tell you what's happening from the private property.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously.
Right.
Obviously.
Right. But the ACM has been cleaned up from the right-of-way. All right?
Any other questions?
No, thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
All set?
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
I see our first public hearing starts at 6:30.
Yeah, we were at 6:30 because originally we were going to have an executive session for the first 30 minutes, and then we tabled that. So we do have some time in between. Maybe we can go on to discuss the article that Floor had sent that we wanted to discuss back in July.
Great. Sure.
Or we can go through COCs, but maybe while everyone's brains are still going.
Yeah. Yeah, so I sent an article, you have it there on the screen, that it has been having press across the country, but also in the northeast, of the use of dicot, especially to kill weeds, and the effect that it has on health. And it has been banned in many countries, so UK, the European Union, China, many other countries as well. In the US, it's still approved. And we have been having requests lately, when in the past year that I'm part of the commission, for the use of dicot to treat our lakes. So I raised the concern of the use of dicot when these requests came up, similar as the glyphosates that I also mentioned my concerns. So I just wanted to make this more public and see how we can work as a commission to try to minimize the use of these algicides and herbicides. So I know that as a commission we are concerned with the health of the wetlands, but this and this is human health, it's not health of the wetlands. At the same time, we have a huge amount of population that use these wetlands. So I just wanted to bring it up.
Well, we are concerned about human health.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know we are all concerned about human health,
Yeah.
but in terms of like our regulatory.
The reason we
things.
exist is for human health,
Yeah, yeah.
in the end run.
Yes.
In the end.
I mean, the question that I have is just a legal one. I mean, given that our EPA will not do much in the next 4 years, we will have to look to Europe and the other countries to see what's good and what's not good. But in terms of legality, if somebody comes here and says, okay, this is EPA approved, and it's commonly used in the States, well, I don't regard this to be good. Do we have any ways of saying, no, we don't really want that? I mean, so that's my question.
Yes and no. Under the regulations of the Wetland Protection Act, when it's coming to means and methods and, types of treatments, if it's approved by EPA, we really can't say, no, you cannot use these specific chemicals. However, under our bylaw, the use of pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, and fertilizers is all prohibited under our bylaw. So technically, we could approve a project under the Wetland Protection Act if it meets the performance standards and deny it under the bylaw because it does not meet the standards because those chemicals are prohibited. So you do have some leg to stand on in that aspect.
So-
If you wanted to take it a step further, under the town itself, we could try to move forward with putting a local ban on a specific chemical. It would have to go to town meeting, so the town itself would have to vote on it, which the lake, we'd have trouble getting support from the lake residents because that is one of the primary chemicals. But, so I think that it would take a lot of heavy education on our end of trying to offer other methods for maintaining. I think that we've discussed several times why these chemicals are needed and how they can even be avoided in the first place, but we're not quite.
So according to our bylaws, all chemicals are banned?
pesticides and herbicides are prohibited
So,
within 100 feet of a wetland resource area. So really, you could deny the waiver for,
so are we always giving a waiver then?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And we've, at least for the vegetation management plans that we've done since I've been here, I've always had you all vote on that waiver separately, granting the waiver to use herbicides and pesticides in the resource area.
So
So
then-
you deny the waiver, you deny it under the bylaw. A project can be denied under the bylaw, but approved under the Wetland Protection Act, and it still just won't move forward. But if it meets all of the performance standards under the Wetland Protection Act, but not our bylaw, that's kind of one way that you can go for it. So but then it's going to come to, where you're going to get a lot of pushback on that, because it's going to be, what would you prefer that they use?
Right.
Which we can also say, stop fertilizing your lawns and clean up your dog waste and all of these other things that are continuing to contribute to the excessive weed growth, wash your boats, all the things that we know. So it's just be, for the commission to determine. We could also look into the amount of use and limit that under the conditions under the bylaw as well, saying we approve dicot only where, for example, if invasive plant management is taking up more than 80% of the flora in this area versus areas where it's not as significant. So, under our bylaw, we can have a lot more control over the application process.
Okay.
So, thank you for that, Lauren. One of the things that I would like in future permits for the use of pesticides, herbicides, algicides, anything, we ask to place notice near, like for the neighbors and near the lake. But also, I would like if we can add we can ask them to add what is the compounds that they are treating it. So like people that are going to be swimming in the lake are informed. I've seen people swimming at Cedar. I live nearby. I don't live on the lake, but I've seen people swimming at Cedar like with a bus. So I don't know if I know that everyone has the right of do whatever they want, but maybe if there is information about like the algicides that they are using, it may provide more information. And also,
We required that with Cedar, with the most recent one.
Oh, I don't.
If they're not doing, I don't.
Okay, I don't- I
If you
didn't- I
notice
didn't
the,
stop by and
yeah,
check
if you
it.
notice next year when they treat, if it's not on there, let me know.
Okay.
And I'll make sure that gets addressed, but we put that, for Cedar, we put that in the order of conditions, that those notices had to include what specific chemicals they were
Okay.
using.
Excellent. I didn't stop with a car like to
Okay.
check what the notice says. So like
They even
the
had,
I didn't-
They have even had lifeguards stay and make sure no one went in the water
okay.
this year.
Oh yeah.
In fact, through the weekend. so.
Yeah, yeah. So I know that some towns have restrictions and bans on the use of this, at least for glyphosates. I didn't check for. Like what? So there is like in Massachusetts, is like dicot is not banned at the town level, but they have there are 11 towns, Andover and others, that for glyphosates they prohibit the use in all public properties. They cannot like tell people what they do in their houses, but at least in public property. So maybe that's something that we can discuss how to enforce it or like minimize its use. Maybe if there is a case that is really, really needed, there could be approved. But given like a lot of the things we don't know, what is the cumulative effect that it's going to have, and we have like a lot of people using these lakes, I thought it was an important thing to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, given the fact that it's well within our right to ask for an alternatives analysis whenever a project is brought in front of us to make sure that all alternative plans have been considered to mitigate the impact. I would think that the easiest path forward in absence of a ban, because I'm with Karsten, I'm just concerned about creating a situation where we're going to be in a legal rock fight with our own residents. That's not what we want. But can we require what the recommended list of treatments are from, but also an alternative list, so we can evaluate what the alternative would be and make some determinations there? Because then we're being a little bit more even-handed with the approach. My concern would be, we deny it under the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw because it's dicot, but then they come back with another alternative and it's a herbicide, but, within our bylaw, it doesn't specify which ones they are, and all of a sudden, we're in a situation where we approve one herbicide over another, and does that put us into some sort of legal peril, given the fact that the state DEP allows it? I'm less concerned about the EPA and more about the DEP in this case, because if Massachusetts moves on it, it makes our jobs a lot easier. So I don't know if that's more of an appropriate way for us to move forward, so we can at least evaluate option A and option B.
We can act
Because we can't allow the vegetation, especially the invasives, to just run rampant. That's going to cause other public safety issues as
Right.
well, and nuisance issues as
So
well.
we just issued Cedar's new one this year, so we're not gonna see them again for another
3 years.
6.
Or-
Well,
no.
they'll do the extension probably in 3.
Yeah. But we don't have to necessarily accept the extension.
True. Yeah, we could require that with the extension.
Yeah.
Big Alums was approved early 2024. Who else has an active one? Walker Pond?
South Pond, too.
South Pond.
Yep.
So I gotta check the date on theirs, but I'm assuming that they would be next to re-up theirs. So that can be something, and, if that's something with this discussion too, communicating with Slack and saying, these are the types of things that the commission is going to be looking for when you're submitting these new notice of intents for vegetation management plans. Please relay these concerns to your consultants, so that way they can get addressed as part of the application versus, supplemental material that
Well, and my
requires
guess,
continuance.
all the members of Slack are residents that live around the lakes. They are concerned about this stuff as well. It's their children, their grandchildren themselves going into that water. So, there's a measured balancing act that they are doing. I don't think people are going into this like, we're gonna take care of the weeds and we're gonna give Johnny a third eye. That's not the point, right? So,
Right.
but if we do have an alternative that might justify it, might make this conversation still be top of mind, and give us an alternative, and then we can have a reasoned conversation when these things come in front of us.
Absolutely.
I would like to add that be sure that the people that live at the lake, and they have the kids and they're using the lake, they know about the dangers of this, because it might be also that
Oh, please
they
sign
see
in
that
over
it's
there.
approved.
Oh, would
by
you
the
sign in
EPA.
over there? Thanks.
They may see that it's approved by the EPA, and then it's like, okay, yes, it's approved, but then wouldn't
Yeah.
go into that. So it's more of an information as well.
Maybe we could also, because the treatments are occurring in the summer, we could also work with the rec department that for the 1 or 2 days of the year that people aren't able to swim because they're applying the treatment, maybe we can have rec send something to all the parents that are saying, this is why your kids can't swim today, just so you're aware. Not in a scary way that's gonna make people really alarmed, but just enough of an educational, just something of what.
Yeah, I
going
think during camp it wasn't an issue. They didn't let the kids, just people that were outside the camp. Maybe even post it on the rec website. That it would be a great idea.
Yeah.
It's also expanding, the problem is growing.
Yeah.
And the solutions that there are what man has right now, but there's got to be better stuff coming along that is less harmful to certain plants and whatever. I mean, I came through the DDT era, so I understand how stupid man can be. So I think we should, as we go forward, we should become more aware of it, ask more questions, make them discuss alternatives, and, you know, do the best we can. But we do have power to put visibility on it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's important. Anything else?
And if it did, through that process over time became enough of a community concern, then Flora, like you mentioned, we could look at trying to move forward with a, ban on using it on public property through a bylaw process. And just kind of see what happens over the next few years and the response that we get from the community.
Yeah, I think when we started it out, let's go back 4 years, 5 years, everyone was really cautious about the usage, the publication, the signage. It was published when the dates were from, to and from, and that's slacked off. It isn't anywhere near as I think they're doing a better job in the actual application than, but I don't think that the communication level is,
Become so normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 3 of my grandchildren were lifeguards down there while they were going through the process and keeping people out. And when I asked them why they were keeping people out, they didn't even know. They weren't good answers, so. Anything further?
No, just like a note that it's not only dicot, but also the glyphosates, the Roundup, basically.
I think in the article that it said that some people are using glyphosate as a supplement to dicot, but that doesn't make it better.
No,
It's still just as damaging, just different health concerns.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're at 6:30, so we have a public hearing.
Well, I can read the opening statement, and
Yeah, go ahead.
We could do a couple of certificates of compliance if need be. In the interest of saving time, the Sturbridge Conservation Commission will hold all public hearings tonight for work within a wetland, water body, or resource area, and/or within the 200-foot buffer zone to a wetland, water body, or resource area, in accordance to the Mass Wetland Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and associated regulations, and the Town of Sturbridge Wetland Bylaws and associated regulations. We will not be reading the newspaper ad. Prior to the opening of the first hearing, for each project, the applicant is to submit proof of notification to abutters within 200 feet of the subject property line and proof of the legal newspaper advertisement. If those items are not submitted, the public hearing will not open. Additionally, prior to the start of each public hearing, we will announce the location of the project, the applicant, and the applicant's representative. If any of the visitors have not legibly signed in yet, please do so. Also, if any visitors are recording this meeting, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we've got 2 minutes. You want to do 11 Seneca Lane?
We could even start with 10 if you wanted to.
Okay,
Because
start
that
with
one was
10.
pretty straightforward.
Go ahead. Yep. All right. 160 Lane 8, Wetland Bylaw Permit Project. Repair septic system, convert garage into a 1-bedroom, well piping, and demolition of the house. Everybody see that? So you know what we're talking about. So is anybody here for that?
No, it was just a wetland bylaw permit, not a hearing, so, and I thought it was gonna be later, but project is pretty straightforward. The house is really the only aspect of it that's in the 100-foot buffer, or the 200-foot buffer, so it's outside of the 100. For those that saw it, it's in rough shape coming down, so the property owner wants to demo the house and seed and loam. They anticipate wanting to build something there at some point, so that's why they only want to seed it instead of trying to plant, do trees or anything. And then the existing garage is going to be converted with a new septic that's going to be outside of the 200 as well, that will connect to that. I had no concerns with the site. There's it will be obviously open where the existing structure is, but in its current condition, I still see that as an improvement because the grass does provide some vegetation and there's a lot of trees in that area. This is not a property that has a big open lake view. It's a lot of trees and ledge all going down just from where that proximity of the property is in comparison to the lake, so I have no concerns with it. Part of the reason of bringing this forward is just making the commission aware of that, when a project does come forward for building, whether that's a ADU or a new house, of just a little bit more of the history and getting this documented in meeting minutes.
Okay, Eric, you got anything?
The only question I had was, in the detailed agenda, there was a SEC number 26-21. Is that accurate for this project, or is that just in quotes because it was a sample? Is this actually?
That is
under-
accurate for this.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
All right, anybody else? I'd like to see all of the materials removed from the site
As a condition?
as a condition, and hay bales are put up around the house prior to construction, to destruction, I should say.
Instead of wattles?
You can, either one, whichever they.
I put wattles because it's not a big slope, it's pretty flat up there, so,
Yep,
okay.
so, no problem there. And the other thing, with that removed, down the road, they're coming back to us with an open site or filing. There's no, they can't say, oh, we had X, Y, Z there, so we're going to put X, Y, Z back. That will not work. So,
It is outside of the 100, but
I know.
yes, it doesn't offer any
shouldn't be-
guarantees.
It shouldn't be a problem, but I
Right.
just make the statement anyway.
Yep,
Absolutely.
makes sense, reasonable. With regards to the project at 160 Lane 8, SEC file number 26-21, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project with a wetland bylaw permit with the conditions as noted in the detailed agenda supplied by the agent.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor?
St. Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
All right. We can now legally go to start of our meeting. We are at 6:30. Open the public hearing for a request for determination of applicability for 136 Podunk. Owner applicant Balbel Ahmed, represented Balbel Ahmed, SEC file number 25-16. Proposed project is a new deck. All right.
And the applicant is participating remotely, so if you'd like to have him present the project. Mr. Ahmed, if you want to go over your project?
To install a new deck, so there is already a 204 square feet utility storage and unfinished area. So we wanna remove this area and replace with a 300 square feet wooden deck. So it's there will be minimal damage in the wetland, and the land is covered with grass. So there will be no harm to the vegetation.
You put the plan up just so we can.
So we did approve the septic replacement earlier this year. This was the septic plan, and as you can see, it is outside of the 100-foot buffer. This was kind of the shape of the previous deck, which had been demolished because it was falling apart. And the new deck. Come on. Is squared off with just, what kind of posts are we using? 4 posts and securing, with a 4-foot deep concrete base. And it's a 10 by 30 deck. Already disturbed footprint. This is a overall, not restoration in terms of wetland protection, but restoration as in terms of the property. So from its previous state, that was just, for anyone that saw it, even before they had cleaned, before we went out for the septic, there was trash and debris everywhere, so this is a great improvement. I think my only question to the applicant is, what are you putting underneath the deck? Is it gonna be gravel or grass, or what will be underneath the deck?
There will be grass, yes.
Grass, okay.
Yeah.
Other than that, I have no concerns with the project. Glad that he came forward with this new project too.
Eric?
No questions. I think it's pretty straightforward.
My only concern is that grass will probably not grow well under the deck. You might want to consider stone. That way there'll be less runoff, cleaner runoff, I should say. It's up to you. I'm not going to be a hard liner on it, but most decks around the ponds, if they've had grass, they eventually put stone, crushed stone or some size of stone. Anything, Fleur?
It's good for me.
Okay. Carson?
No, I'm fine.
All right.
Anybody in the public? Hearing nothing, I would like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Central money.
Go ahead, yeah.
Central money in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor. All right.
With regards to the project at 136 Podunk Road, SEC file number 25-16, I'd like to make a motion to issue a negative determination for the project pursuant to the Wetland Protection Act and the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw, with the conditions as noted in the agent's detailed agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Central money in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Only one vote on that one, that was easy. Mr. Ahmed, thank you, you're all set.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Public hearing notice 6:40. Well, we're ahead. You want to go back and do another
You want to do 11 Seneca, item 11?
11 Seneca? You ready? 11 Seneca, request for a certificate of compliance, DP file number 300-1081.
Project was for a failing brick retaining wall, which was replaced with a natural boulder wall. This ground is stable. There was some vegetation that needed to be replaced or planted that was, had survived. No concerns. Recommendation to move forward and issue a certificate of compliance with perpetual conditions 34 through 36.
All right, great. Make a motion?
Sure. With regards to the project at 11 Seneca Lane, DP file number 300-1081, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 34, 35, and 36.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Central money in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. All right. And we are now, well, do one more. 12100 Charlton Road. Request for certificate of compliance, DEP file number 300-1083.
So this project was for retaining wall repair and landscaping. I obviously was not here when this was originally issued. The certificate of compliance request dates back to December of 2023, so it's kind of just been in a limbo status, again, prior to me starting here, but under the Wetland Protection Act guidelines, we still have to acknowledge them and, you know, keep them going because there is a time to act on these. The applicant has since requested that we table this because they're not ready to move forward. I think there's going to be some possible changes to the ownership of the property, and they need to figure out how they're moving forward with that, so request a table. And also, I would like to speak with someone at some point, whether Ed or Eric, that was here when this was originally permitted, to just kind of get a little bit more of an understanding on the project history, because we'd have a very thick file on it. So I think that there had been some issues in the past, and I just want to make sure that I understand everything properly before making any recommendations.
Sure.
All right. Is that the place you fell in, Eric?
That is the place that I went up to in my hip. There was no wetland there, because clearly, you know.
I had to say.
Yeah, I remember it vividly, Ed.
I know. It's like unbelievably about 2 feet from me, too. All right. Wait, we're gonna put a hold on that. All right, so I don't think we have to do anything, right? We just table it.
Table,
Yeah.
not a hearing seat.
Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll table it. 59 Bennett's Road, a request for a certificate of compliance, DEP file number 300-1103.
The project was there was some remodel on a single-family home and a new septic. The septic as-built was slightly off, but still within the perk range, so I think they had just hit some ledge where they were planning on excavating. It has all its proper certificates from Board of Health, valid Title V inspection. Everything else was done according to the plan, no signs of erosion or instability or any other concerns with the property. So recommendation to issue a certificate of compliance with perpetual conditions 47 through 51.
Okay.
All right.
With regards to the project at 59 Bennett's Road, DEP file number 300-1103, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 47 through 51.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
St. Germain in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. All right, let's do the last one. 28 Camp Road, request for certificate of compliance, DEP file number 300-1101.
Last one on that page, but not a lot of those. So we recently approved a one-year extension at the beginning of the summer, just because they had to finish up some minor details, but we did the inspection and everything was done according to plan. The house was slightly shifted, same reasoning, again, they hit ledge, but it's further from the resource areas. I think that this is a great example of a new single-family home on the pond that has minimal disturbance. They have a simple view of the pond, but it's not a big cleared area. It's heavy in vegetation all around. Kind of looks like a house was just dropped in the middle of it. There was one modification that was made where previously the property was being used by ATVs. As part of the plan, there were some boulders that needed to be placed into the into the paths of where the ATVs were going. Those, at least one of the boulders was having an impact on the tree root systems and killing the trees. Went out and looked at the site, and it's so overgrown in this area. That property is also heavily posted, and they have not had any trespassing issues since they've actively been living in it. So my recommendation is leaving this as it is, letting the vegetation take over. There is a boulder area still at the end, but like I said, they've had no issues with ATV trespass use. There's a lot of security on the property as well. But overall, this was a great project, no signs of erosion, stormwater systems were put in according to plan. And recommendation to issue the certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions is noted on the detailed agenda.
Awesome. With regards to the project at 28 Camp Road, DEP file number 1101, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with perpetual conditions of 53 through 57.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor?
St. Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
You confuse me.
All right. We are now at 6:45. We'll go with notice of intent for Cedar Street and Cedar Pond. Owner applicant is DPW representative Scott Morrison, VHB. DEP file number 300, and we have it, 1242. Proposed project construction of a sidewalk.
Scott.
Good evening. Just for the record, Scott Morrison from VHB, here with me, Sam Grealis, the project engineer. There's two sections of this, so there's a northern section and a southern section. I think what we got here first is the Cedar Street to Cedar Pond Road, which is the northern section, which we can go through. So the project consists of installation of...
You can't see, you want to move over where you can see?
So the project consists of pedestrian improvements, including sidewalks to provide a safe place to walk from. This particular section will be Burgess School Road to the recreation facility. So it'll go northerly up Cedar Street and then easterly on Cedar Pond Drive. Next slide. We can jump to, so this is the project layout, the northern section. This is Burgess School Road here. So this section will include sidewalks extending up to Cedar Pond Road to get to the facility here. So it'll allow students to walk to the school. It'll also give, with the southern section, it'll give kind of an access for anybody that lives in the area to be able to walk up, go to this recreation area, and be able to use kind of the recreation area and the recreational trails. So this is the section that we're looking at currently. If we go to the next slide, we've got the existing conditions. So there are areas of bordering vegetated wetland. Just to get you oriented, this is Cedar Street here. This is Burgess Hill School Road.
I was trying to make it a little bit bigger.
So this is Burgess Hill School Road here. This is an area of bordering vegetated wetland at the intersection of Burgess Hill School Road and Cedar Street. We can jump to the next slide. So for this section, we'll show you in detail in the next slide. But for erosion control, we've got an erosion control barrier running along here in between the proposed sidewalk and retaining wall and the wetland. So that there'll be a sidewalk constructed and granite curbing all the way up through here. Stormwater improvements through this section will consist of catch basins here, here, and here, flowing into a storm scepter, and then discharge from that storm scepter. There's an existing culvert discharge here anyway, so it would just be essentially the identical location, but with those water quality improvements. For individual homes, they'll cut the pavement back, install the sidewalk, and then repave those sections. Any areas outside where the sidewalk will be loamed and seeded, stabilized. Through this section, I think there's one tree that needs to be removed, and that's outside the 200-foot buffer zone at the intersection, which we'll get to in a minute. So if you want to jump to the next slide. So what we just looked at was the section here from Burgess Hill School Road up. This is the section of Cedar Pond Drive down to the recreational facility. Through here, you've got an area of bordering vegetated wetland here. This is the 25-foot buffer zone. There's an area of bordering vegetated wetland over here. Drains, this is a kind of a seasonal ponding area here, drains through a 12-inch pipe underneath the roadway and discharges to this bordering vegetated wetland. As I said before, the only tree that needs to be removed, I think, is right here. So it's right outside that 200-foot buffer zone. We want to jump to the next slide. So we've got a slide showing the erosion control barriers. So we've got erosion control barrier running down the edge of the road. We've also got some here because we're replacing that cross culvert. If you want to jump to the next slide. So this has the area highlighted. We went through that earlier section here. There'll be a catch basin here and discharge, so some water quality improvements here. Sidewalk will come up and then run down along Cedar Pond Drive down to the recreational facility. This pipe here is an existing corrugated metal pipe in tough conditions. We're proposing to replace that with a 12-inch reinforced concrete pipe. The reason for using the similar pipe is to maintain the hydrology up through here, so that we're not installing something larger that's going to drain this seasonal ponding area and affect any of the wetlands here. So essentially identical, keep the same inverts to this system.
So you're going to go from a 10-inch to a 12-inch, is what you said?
I'm sorry, 12-inch to a 12-inch.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they're both 18.
Oh,
I think
18s.
18 to 18. Yeah.
So, sorry about that.
Yeah.
We did look at this when we did the delineation. There was some leaf litter in through here. We don't believe that this is really a stream channel. Like, again, there's a seasonal ponding area here. It enters this pipe and then discharges out through here. So we're maintaining those conditions.
But you're going to treat it like a stream channel, right?
Well, we're replacing the pipe
Yeah.
to make sure that there's enough flow. What we don't want to do is put in a 36-inch pipe or some large pipe that's going to end up draining this wetland system and allowing significant flows to come through, so. Yep. So similar to the other section, the sidewalk will be constructed. Any areas where there's grading or anything associated outside that will be loamed and seeded. Once everything's fully stabilized, the erosion control barriers will be removed, so. We did get some DEP file numbers
Yeah.
late today. Just trying to
This
think
is
what the,
1242.
yes,
I have them too, so I can
Okay.
read them off.
if you don't mind.
I don't know. Yeah, these did come in at 4:05 this afternoon, so.
Right in the nick of time.
So for this project, DEP file number 300-1242, comments read, although file number is being issued, please note the following. WPA Form 3, as well as the project narrative site 10.247C1, which refers to limited projects in coastal resource areas. The applicant should update Form 3 and accompanying documents to site 10.533 in its appropriate limited project category for inland resource areas. Mass DEP notes that in the narrative summary on the stormwater management, the applicant cites work on footpaths, bike paths, etc. as project eligibility for Standard 7 redevelopment. Sidewalks associated with a roadway layout would not qualify as a footpath or bike path, but it appears the project would still qualify for redevelopment and should demonstrate an improvement over existing conditions to stormwater management. Upon review of Mass GIS layers and aerial imagery, Mass DEP observed what appears to be a stream channel north and south of the road. USGS topographic layer on Mass Mapper and USGS national map both depict an intermittent stream at this location. Mass DEP also notes that the field observations were collected during the extended drought period that ran from September 2024 through April 2025. Mass DEP recommends additional data be submitted to support this position, or an analysis per 310 CMR 10.538 is submitted to demonstrate the proposed crossing meets stream crossing standards to the maximum extent practical. For example, Massachusetts Stream Crossing Standard recommend that round culverts are embedded 25%. And one comment off of that, when we were all there, the wetland does appear dry, and we are not currently in a drought status. And also in my comments on the detailed two, I just would like to include just verification that the applicant has considered wildlife passage and evaluated from if Massachusetts stream crossing standards were met, if applicable. And I'll just go on my other comments while I'm going. The project will improve safety and ADA access and will improve stormwater flow and quality of runoff. But I do think a long-term operation and maintenance plan should be provided to the Conservation Department prior to the issuance of a certificate of compliance.
Okay. Yeah, so again, in the notice of intent narrative, I talk about in more detail about this crossing and the need to replace it in kind. Again, you know, this is a seasonal ponding area. I think it's mapped as a potential vernal pool. We didn't evaluate it to determine if it is a vernal pool or anything, but to prevent anything from draining that, we're providing a similar cross culvert. And again, similar to what you indicated, that, you know, it's dry and there's no flow through there currently. And then I think we can provide an O&M plan. I don't think that's a problem.
Well, do you think the requirement on the burial of the pipe will be a problem?
I think if anything, if you try and bury that,
Well, they said it's going to be, what was,
like 25% embedded,
yeah,
25%.
so you're filling 25% of an 18-inch pipe, which is going to be extremely difficult.
well, that's why I'm asking the question.
And then my concern with that would be whatever you can do to stuff it in, you'd have to stuff the material in to fill that 25%. And then if you get a heavy rainstorm, I suspect the significant flows, it's just going to push all that right out.
Yeah.
So essentially, we're replacing it in kind. This isn't a very busy street, so I would imagine that anything for wildlife that's going to pass between these is likely going to just simply go up and over this up and over this roadway and continue on. You know, there's a big forested area here. There's no houses through this whole section. There's a house, I think, at this corner here, but the rest of it, there's no houses, so it's just forested on both sides of the road.
Okay.
Just a quick question for Heather. Is there a history of any type of backup or breaking of the existing pipe now in its current 18-inch?
Meaning having to open it up?
Right.
No, this isn't a place where you have to go do maintenance.
So at that point, I would kind of recommend that it, going further, would make a detrimental change to the existing conditions, and that it's best to just leave it in its current state.
Right, I agree with you completely. Any,
So the stream that they were referencing in the DEP comments, where is that on the map?
So it's mapped, there's a stream that's mapped that comes like through here, through this system, across here, and then carries
So it's all
on.
part of what we see here.
It's all
not
part of
like
this,
that.
yeah.
It's also- Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious. I couldn't visualize it, so thank you.
When we were on site, I think you were parked like about here, so it was, you know, about in the middle of between where you had parked and the end of the street.
Okay.
all
And
right,
once you get down here, it's much more defined because you end up with some flow coming through here and then flow coming from that other wetland near Burgess Hill School Road. So there's a substantial stream once you get you'd be off here on the page, but
because they filled it in, put a tennis court in, and they put all kinds of stuff around it, so it became a substantial stream. Yeah. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, I was going to say that although it appears as a stream in the Mass GIS maps, I think it's mostly an intermittent
Yeah.
flow from the wetland that is north of that to the other one. So it's like just a comment.
Carson?
So this says, I mean, you said there's only one tree among the, outside the 200-foot. Here it says there will be some tree removal within the 100-foot zone on the staff comments.
there's some that there's like this, I think, is listed as air spading and root pruning of these. So they'll keep that tree. They'll just do some mitigation measures to try and make sure that.
It's the next
Survive.
ones up, I think they say move
Which one?
up a little further, right there.
Right.
Oh, those two.
Oh, yeah.
Those few trees, that's within the 200 foot, not the 100
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah, they're in the 200.
Sorry, I'm confused. Now we are like just looking at the
This is just Cedar Street now.
Cedar Street.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The one you really want to look at is, well, we're really not talking about a lot. If we're putting in a sidewalk, we're going to find some trees. It really doesn't go any differently than that. All right, anybody in the audience like to speak to this?
Yeah, I know, I do have a question. I know you're talking about trees,
Um,
but, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking if we.
I am asking you, and I am saying you got to have you on the mic.
Yeah.
Because, not for us, but for people at home.
Okay.
And just please state your name and address for the
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay, hi, Jennifer Latender, 52 Cedar Street. I know we're talking about trees a lot, and I don't have the exact measurements, but we have a large retaining wall. So I'm just wondering how that's going to affect us living there. Is that going to be taken down and replaced 5.5 feet back from what I'm reading on the maps, I think? That's what's proposed anyways.
Right.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, we,
Should have done stand-up mic for today.
Heather Blakely, DPW Director, and I apologize for anybody who is from this upper section because we haven't had a public information meeting yet, but we will be having one once we get a little further on in the process. But just like in the other section that we have proposed, as part of the project, any changes that have to be made to the property is going to be paid for by the project, and we'll review them individually with the homeowners so that they can, or in a meeting, so that you can see what the changes are going to be, but we will be doing those as part of the whole project. It's not the responsibility of the homeowner. I had a homeowner ask me that already at one point, and I'm like, no, we'll do plantings, we'll do whatever is needed to satisfy the conditions, so.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, more information to follow. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Doreen Grout, 9 Cedar Pond Road. I'm not on Cedar Street, but I'm on the Cedar Pond Road. I'm just concerned for we were talking about Cedar Lake and the health and everything to do with that. And I'm just concerned with the sidewalk. It looks like you're gonna put granite curbing, which will hold back a lot of the drainage. I get you got some basins going in, but I'm just concerned that some of that water will flow into our lake because we have that stream on the side, and I'm just concerned about our health of our lake. There's so much that's going on at that rec area where we are fighting the health of our lake with, you were talking about the chemicals and everything. I'm just very concerned for our lake. With all these projects, we just had construction there with the playground, and that's my concern, is putting the sidewalks there with the granite curbing, the drainage, the basins, that, the stream there, the water flowing into the stream, eventually coming into our lake. So, that's my concern.
The, wait, stay there. Stay there. The,
I can point to it, it's easy.
yeah,
Right here.
yeah.
This is a catch basin here. It's gonna drain out.
This will be cleaner in delivering the water than it is now.
I hope so.
If we do it right, during the construction is the most dangerous phase. After it's in place with the granite and with the delivery system, it will help the lake.
Well, I hope so, because we were talking all about the weeds and using the chemicals, and there's so much traffic there, and people, and trash, and people putting kayaks in, and canoes, and boats, and taking them in and out, and you're talking about the weeds, and, you know, are they washing their boats, putting them in and out? I'm just so concerned for our Cedar Lake health, that's all. And so with this project, made me more concerned.
Well, it's not exactly a boat ramp there, but I've been on the committee for 42 years, and most of the problems that we have along Cedar Lake are from people with homes filling the lake with leaves and filling the lake with, or even that stream comes down along behind the tennis courts, filling that with leaves, all, you know. those are things that are problems. This is a sidewalk being put in.
I know.
And it'll probably help us, we hope, make it safer for the kids to go down there. And as far as the way that it's been laid out, it's workable, and it should be good for the town.
And even up Cedar Street, the way Cedar Street is so tight and where you're gonna put it on that corner. I mean, that dangerous curve, how,
Right.
what is it, just gonna be a sidewalk with the little granite curbing for people? The people come up around that corner. You're talking about how tight it is where your wall is. You barely have yard there now. I mean, I know it's gonna make it safer, but there's a lot of issues as well
Right.
there.
Yeah, well, keep at them, because you're right,
Really is. Thanks.
Chair back if you want.
Anybody else?
No, go ahead.
We also added a mic over here too, if that's easier for anyone. Oh, and sorry, what was your name again? I didn't catch it.
Doreen Brown.
Thank you.
Oh,
Even easier.
Bob Canoia, Cedar Street, 43 Cedar Street, the opposite side of where the sidewalk is.
Yeah.
The young lady just spoke about the narrowness of the road and that curve.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen with that? They're widening the road, hopefully.
Ask the young lady here.
Right?
So the overall footprint, because we're adding the sidewalk is going on the outside of the edge of the road. Ironically, I know there's a lot of talk about widening the road and the safety. By actually keeping the road narrower, you're actually going to keep the speeds down. When you widen the road, you actually increase speed because people feel like they can go faster. A sidewalk will give the appearance of more of a area that you shouldn't speed in. So this should actually help the speeding, help those problems. We don't really want to widen the whole road because we don't want to make a road widening project. That's a whole bigger scope of a project. But having a road that feels like, oh, there could be people here, will make people go slower. It's actually psychological in your brain, and people don't know that, but there's tons of research studies that actually prove that. So hopefully we're going to do, not only make it safer for the people that already do walk on this road, which I know there are some. Yes, there's going to be a curb. The curb will be a full height curb in most locations, so it's something that if you hit it with your tire right, you're going to break your tire. You're not going to jump onto the curb. You do have to go up and down at the driveways for safety, so you can enter. But there is a lot of studies that show by keeping roads narrower, having pedestrian accommodations actually makes people go slower.
Now, so the opposite side of the sidewalk? Yeah.
Other side of the street
is not going to be touched.
touched.
There we go. Thank you.
Anybody else?
All right.
All right. Seeing none.
Well, I would like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Carson seconds. Any discussion, further discussion? No? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Central Money in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project at Cedar Street and Cedar Pond Road, DEP file number 300-1242, I'd like to make a motion to provide a waiver for temporary and permanent disturbance, as well as a new structure within the 25-foot buffer zone.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Central Money in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project at Cedar Street and Cedar Pond Road, DEP file number 300-1242, I'd like to make a motion to provide a waiver for a new structure within the 50-foot buffer.
Second.
Keeping me on my toes, Lauren.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Central Money in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project at Cedar Street and Cedar Pond Road, DEP file number 300-1242, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project pursuant to the Wetlands Protection Act with the conditions as noted in the draft order of conditions.
Second.
Discussion, seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
St. Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
And lastly, with regards to the project at Cedar Street and Cedar Pond Road, DEP file number 300-1242, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project and issue an order of conditions pursuant to the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw with the conditions noted in the draft order of conditions.
Second.
Discussion, none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
St. Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
All right,
All right.
thank you. All right, take two.
Thank you very much. So this is this southern section for Cedar Street, which we'll go through, which I discussed kind of briefly earlier. If we want to go to the next slide. So again, pedestrian improvements, sidewalks will provide a safe place for pedestrians. The sidewalks on the east side of Cedar Street from the Bird Store, which is just north of Route 20, to the Burgess School Road. Additional crosswalks will connect to the sidewalk on Cedar Street to the south, and then the northern section will be approved, through the prior application. We want to go to the next slide. Next one. So this is, we just talked about this section here. So this section, I think it's the Wild Bird Store. It's roughly where the end of the existing sidewalk is here. So this will extend northerly to the Burgess Hill School here. So that kind of gives you an orientation of the project. If we want to go to the next slide. So the only wetlands in this section, as we just discussed, this is the Burgess School Road here. This is Cedar Street here. This is the bordering vegetated wetland that we discussed earlier. There's also there's a house out front with a couple little fingers of wetlands back here. So we've got 25-foot wetland buffer zones here, and then here. 50-foot buffer zone wraps around like this. This particular project section does not have any work within the 25 or the 50. This is the 100-foot buffer zone here. And then the 200-foot is out here. So if we want to go to the next slide. So we've got erosion control barriers here to protect this wetland here, and then right at this corner here to prevent anything would kind of drain back towards here. So if you want to go to the next slide. So we've highlighted that area again, same bordering vegetated wetland here, a couple sections here. The sidewalk will extend northerly. Here's the 200-foot buffer zone, extend to Burgess Hill School. Again, sidewalks will cross driveways that'll be saw cut and replaced. There'll be a sidewalk striped to allow pedestrians to cross here. Any disturbance will be loamed and seeded outside the construction area. There are some stormwater improvements consisting of catch basin to a leaching basin here. So there'll be some capture of treatment attenuation here, draining into here, and we'll get some infiltration. Similar to the other project, we'll install the erosion control barrier, construct the project. Once the project's fully constructed, complete, everything's stabilized, the erosion control barriers will be removed. We did get a file number as we did with the previous project. There was the first comment about that. They had a comment about doing work within bordering land subject to flooding. There is no flood zone within this area, so I think she must have cut and pasted that from a different project when she issued the file number. And then we had a similar project regarding the coastal limited project as opposed to the inland inland limited project comment. But I'd be happy to answer questions if the commission or the public has any at this point.
Yep, let me step in here and just announce that we are doing the notice of intent for Cedar Street 1241, 300-1241. So everything you said was a waste of time. You got to say it over again.
Can we replay?
No, okay. So, we're on, that's all I had to say.
Okay.
So DEP file comments, similar, same I had the question on that too, that it says, WPA form notes that the project is a buffer zone project, however, work is proposed within bordering lands subject to flooding, the applicant should quantify the impacts on Form 3, including temporary. I've never pulled, I mean, the most recent FEMA flood, like, maps don't show that area, so I'm not sure
And
where
we
that comment's
included a
coming
copy in the
from.
notice of intent application,
Right.
because I saw that comment and I was like, did we miss something? And I went back and.
I'll go back and check again, but I think that's incorrect information. The other two comments are the same, as far as, like I said, updating that information for coastal, which I'll just have you update that and send that to me because I'll need that to put in for the order of conditions anyway. And then the same comment on, standard 7 redevelopment, that sidewalks are still, quantified for redevelopment, it's just not a footpath. So no major concerns from DEP. And my comments on this project are the same of just having a long-term operation and maintenance plan prior to issuing a certificate of compliance for the project. But there's less impact from this property, from this portion of the project from the north than from the north side.
Anybody comments on?
Just a question on the map. Can you see?
Yeah.
It's like this one.
I hope you can work it better than I did.
You want this one?
That's fine, I can like just. They're like marked, I can go here, so I can get my teaching. This area is also a crosswalk?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And this, is there a sidewalk?
No.
On this
No.
area? So is this like a ramp?
Yeah, yes, it's kind of a sidewalk, crosswalk to nowhere, but when you do that, you have to have like an area at the end.
Okay.
It's part of Mass DOT's requirement.
Yeah, they called it
So-
like a level landing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a level landing spot. So the idea is if we ever in the future, the reason this came out of our public meeting actually that we had, is that some of the people said that there's a lot of traffic that comes down, foot traffic, bike traffic that comes down from the Grasshopper Lane area to cross in that area, so that putting a crosswalk there would facilitate more walking. There's a second crosswalk that you don't see because it's way outside the buffer zone at, right across from Cedar Street Grill, from their parking lot over also, which was also a comment that was, came up in the public hearing, but it also came up when we did the complete streets, which this is part of our complete streets plan, was
Yeah.
to put an RFB there. So kind of satisfying the both, hopefully planning for the future, potentially to be able to make sure, giving that a place to start with, to come across, so,
And they're all ADA accessible, I.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's for ADA accessibility, but it is kind of like a sidewalk to nowhere, but you have to have it there.
That's
so.
good.
Still maybe
good.
future, right? Never know.
I like the idea of having,
Sidewalk.
yeah, I like the idea of having the crosswalk over there, like with the traffic that you were mentioning. They will slow down traffic there. Thanks.
Carson, anything?
It's fine.
Nope. Eric?
Well, unless there's any public comment, I'd like to make a motion.
Anybody like to speak to this? You want to talk to this? It's closer to your house.
No, that last one was closer.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Where?
You guys want to talk about this?
There's a mic there, you might as well use it.
Ian Duggan, 24 Cedar Street. We've just been in support of this the whole time. I live at 24. I watch people walk through my yard, almost get hit by a car all the time. So we're just here to support the sidewalk project. And then the drainage too. I mean, I deal with a huge puddle at the end of my driveway constantly. There is a big storm drain there and it does do its job, but in the current state of the road kind of starting to disintegrate and doing other things, it's a tough spot. We get a lot of water there. So by doing this project, we're going to get better drainage. So it's an improvement to the area.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing no others, I would like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Good in favor.
Sherman in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
With regards to the project on Cedar Street, DEP file number 300-1241, I'd like to make a motion to provide a waiver for temporary and permanent disturbance, as well as the new structure inside or within the 25-foot buffer.
Second.
Discussion? No? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Don Sherman in favor.
Stuba in favor.
Ed Goodman in favor.
With regards to the project on Cedar Street, DEP file number 300-1241, I'd like to make a motion to approve a waiver for a new structure within the 50-foot buffer.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Don Sherman in favor.
Carsten Stuba in favor.
Ed Goodman in favor.
With regards to the project on Cedar Street, DEP file number 300-1241, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Wetland Protection Act with the conditions as noted in the draft order of conditions.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Don Sherman in favor.
Carsten Stuba in favor.
Ed Goodman in favor.
And last but not least, with regard to the project on Cedar Street, DEP file number 300-1241, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project pursuant to the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw with the conditions as noted in the draft order of conditions.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Don Sherman in favor.
Carsten Stuba in favor.
Ed Goodman in favor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Much. You know, if we'd known we had one of the famous Gunnigans here, we would have just passed on the whole thing. All right.
It's on the northern part now, everybody.
Yeah, send them to me, send them to me tomorrow. Obviously, we're closed on Monday.
Now at 7
Tuesday-
o'clock.
Tuesday,
Notice
Wednesday,
of
I'll probably
intent
leave.
filed under the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw, 10 parcels. Oh, that's, yeah,
No rush.
can't open it. So,
There were several abutters that had not been notified, so
we're not opening it.
under our local regulations, it cannot be opened.
Fantastic. So we're going down, down, down to notice of intent for 57 Bennett Road. Owner applicant Danny Mischoff, Representative Ike Thibodeau, DBA Landscape Evolution, DEP file number 300-1237, proposed landscaping project.
Good evening.
Gentlemen.
Good evening.
This started with a landscaping project where we've proposed a number of things that I believe we've all agreed benefit the lake, including the permeable stone patio, adding native plantings, an additional shade tree down by the water. But our sort of our hang-up is the water filtration system and it's the discharge. We had talked about going to the discharge it on the road side of the house as an improvement, and also sending it underground into a leaching trench. And Mark Farrow here has some details about that leaching pit and the benefits of that. Compared to where we're at right now, with it just discharging on the surface and essentially killing some plant life and heading to the lake. So I don't know if, Mark, you're able to share with us.
His water filtration system is currently over here, and for some reason, they put the discharge from it over here, and this was all vegetated, but with it being discharged on the surface, it basically is just, it's killed all this vegetation, it's all bare soil there, and then it just continues down here and then soaks into the ground. So looked at other options there. I think this is his best option, is to just put a small infiltrative trench right in this area here. It would do several things. One is it would, his water softener discharges about once a week, and it discharges about 50 gallons. So if we put a small trench here, 10 feet long by 2 feet wide by a foot deep and put a perforated pipe on top. He could just plop it in there, and this would take the whole volume of the discharge and let it slowly infiltrate into the ground. That would prevent, killing of the vegetation here instead of letting the discharge on top of the ground. And secondly, proposing to put some, I think, Burgosa roses.
Burgosa rose, yep.
So they're a common plant that's down in the dunes around the Cape Cod, and they're
Salt
very,
tolerant.
very salt tolerant. So that we could revegetate this area here, and that would not be impactful for that species of plants. And I think that's the least invasive and most environmentally sound way to deal with it. As I said over here, it's on top of the ground. You discharge 50 gallons on bare soil. You can get erosion, and it's slowly killed the vegetation in this area, and the trees look healthy, but I think over time you might start having problems with the trees down there as well.
I think at this point with this project, we've discussed all of the landscaping options as they were proposed with the retaining wall. The shed has been eliminated. We've discussed the stairs on the side, the stones in the front, the patio in the front, and we've discussed the impact. I think there's a huge benefit to the core log going on the bank as opposed to the mulch that's eroding in now. We've added some more vegetation and tree down to the lakefront area, so there is a lot of improvement there. Throughout this process, I think that overall, we have identified a possible ongoing issue with these water softeners discharging. Now that kind of presents us with a new problem of who has these, where are they going, who issues these types of permits, and where do we need to intervene as far as the discharge of these types of pipes. And I think that kind of will bring us into something as we're getting into a bylaw and regulation review too, and also talking with other departments to see what channels these are going through to try and get a better account. We don't know how many homes, especially those on the lake, are doing the same practice. From my discussions with the property owner and all the calls that he's made to the water softener companies, this is a common practice. So we've identified a problem, and now I think collectively we need to figure out more solutions to it. And but I think that for this particular project, that this is an optimal improvement in a reasonable manner for something that was never a part of the project that the homeowner wanted in the first place. We've just kind of identified an issue, and I don't know what other options we possibly have. I think we've exhausted everything else, and there's been a tremendous amount of research that's kind of gone into just this portion of the project alone. Of we've gotten the amount of how much is going in. We can condition for soil testing, regular soil testing, and everything as well, if that's something the commission does want. And those are my comments.
Okay, Eric?
First, I just want to thank you all for all the work you've put into this. I know this was not something that you wanted to take on. Unfortunately, sometimes these are the consequences of things presenting themselves on site. So, the only question that I really had was, and you basically answered it, is this overall project greatly improves the overall condition of this site. And if we take no action on this and just leave it as it is, we're going to continue to have a problem, which we're going to have to deal with an enforcement order, and nobody wants to deal with that. So overall, I think that I'm comfortable with where we are at this point, knowing that I don't think anybody's going to get to a full, we're really satisfied with this situation on either side. But the taking no action would put us in a situation where it could be a series of years before any type of remedy is put in place. And with the other improvements that are being made, I think it's an appropriate approval for me. So that's the only comment I have.
Laura?
No, I just agree with Eric that it's an improvement, not only in what it was, but also in like the solutions that were presented before.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the salt tolerant species like planted there as well. So just a question, like they're like those two, I cannot point. Near the pond, are those two circles new plantings? Yeah, that one, yeah. That
Yes.
one, yeah. Okay. Just like that's a question, and
Yes, they are.
and I like that as well. So.
Carson?
So the water softener system is here?
It's
They had the-
it's
and the-
inside the house, in this corner of the house, right here,
In the basement.
in
and
the
that-
basement.
And then they had the pipe going out here.
And then through the pipe, there's a pipe that goes in the basement, and then it discharges right in here,
And so,
on top of the ground.
so you would disconnect that pipe
Disconnect that.
and put it in here.
And then he's going to revegetate that with some vinca.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that, why didn't they do that before?
Right. It was closer. It would be easier.
Do you have to put in a pump or something? No, I don't.
The pump, the water softener has a pump.
Okay.
I think it might just use the water from, it might just be valves, so it probably just uses the pressure from the well tank and then just pushes it out. And then it just gravities into,
Sounds much better, yeah.
All right, Mark, give me a little on the math. You said it's 10 feet
10 feet by 2 feet,
by,
a foot deep.
2 feet by what? By 1 foot? Does that get to the 50 gallons a night that,
So basically, 10-foot trench, 2 feet wide by 1 foot would be 20 cubic yards. And then with stone, we consider the volume of the voids to be 50%.
yeah?
So you have 10 cubic feet of available storage, and there's 7.48 gallons of water in a cubic foot, so it's about 75 gallons would be the capacity of the volume of the voids. And then the discharge is about 50 gallons.
So that would take all of it?
Take all of it.
Yeah. Great, all right. Sounds good to me, too. I think that's the best solution we have for what we're talking about. Yeah. So, motion? Or anybody in the audience like to speak to this?
Well, hearing none, then I would love to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Great.
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Saint Germain in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project at 57 Bennett Road, DEP file number 300-1237, I'd like to make a motion to provide a waiver for disturbance within the 25-foot buffer.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Saint Germain in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regard to the project at 57 Bennett's Road, DEP file number 300-1237, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project pursuant to the Wetlands Protection Act with the conditions as noted in the draft order of conditions.
Second.
Okay. Well, have we got the details in the draft order of conditions?
In the pit.
They're on
I think we
line.
did have them on that last plan. You had submitted a
On the
plan.
plan, we submitted a,
This one.
Yeah,
Wow, yeah, they're right here.
We've got them?
should be.
2-foot wide, 10-foot long trench filled with crushed stone.
Okay.
So it's on the, this is Mike's original plan.
Yeah.
And then what I did is updated my original site plan for the septic system,
Okay.
and we show that trench on it.
Do you want me to remove on that, or?
Good.
The note's down here.
Great. Yeah. All right, so where were we?
I made a motion, did Flores second it? Or- okay.
Well, second, just
All right.
this.
No.
Any
Then
discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
St. Germain in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
And finally, with regards to the project at 57 Bennett Road, DEP file number 300-1237, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project pursuant to the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw with the conditions that noticed in the draft order of conditions, and an additional condition that the applicant should supply a security bond or deposit to the town of Sturbridge in the amount of $2,500 to hold a surety until satisfactory completion of the work.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
St. Germain in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
All right, thank you. Only needed 3 on this one, not 4.
Thank you very much.
Folks.
Thank you.
Appreciate your patience.
Mark, I want you to tattle on anybody on that lake that,
Excuse me?
if you see anybody with that brown rust going down the hill, I want to know about it.
I'm in the water, I can't see that far up on the shore.
That's because your glasses are on your head. If you had them on your eyes, you'd see it better.
All right?
Yeah, you are. Oh, I had started on the COCs. I forgot.
We are now, request for determination to append an order of conditions, DEP 300-1200, for the transmission lines. Group project.
Hello.
How you doing?
My name is Honora Lovelace DeSalle with BSC Group, here on behalf of the Massachusetts Electric Company.
Conley with Anderson and Krieger, also with Miko.
We're here for the request for an amended order of conditions on 300-1200. The request is for conditions 38 and 39, which relate to the debris cleanup that NextEra has completed within the Podunk Road Annex. Now that these conditions have been fulfilled and satisfied, we are asking that they be removed from Massachusetts Electric Company's order of conditions.
Okay. What do you want?
So as stated earlier in the meeting, a certificate of compliance can't be issued at this point because the grass is not stabilized, but the work itself has been done to completion, and I see no issues with removing those 2 conditions from the order of conditions for this DEP file number.
I had a quick.
No, I.
That's how we got in this mess.
Yeah. So all, as part of what was going on there, all the testing that was done as part of what they worked on is referenced in 39.
Correct.
We've satisfied the testing component.
And then some. More was required for the other project,
Okay.
as far as procedural.
So, I told you we could just wait until July and we get this done. All right, no further questions.
Any questions?
Oh, I wanted confirmation on that the condition 39 of the soil testing was also done or will be done with the other.
So who's liable if it turns out that these aren't clean? That land is not clean?
If the land isn't clean,
If somebody comes in and says, you know,
under the existing open order of conditions for DEP file number 300-1228. And then once that's closed out,
we're taking
us,
it off
because
of
it's our
that.
property.
But if
No, we're not taking it off the other one.
He's 1228, they're 1200.
Okay, right, okay. All right, that answers my question. Carson, you got any questions?
No, I mean.
Oh, yeah. That new haircut, you know, you seem quiet.
So far, so good.
All right.
So it took a
I'll make a
moment. It
motion.
took a minute, but we can be reasonable, right? All right, so if, hearing no public comment, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Discussion? None, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Sandra Money in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project, DP file number 300-1200, I'd like to make a motion to approve the amendment pursuant to the Wetland Protection Act.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Sandra Money in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regard to the project, DEP file number 300-1200, I'd like to make a motion to approve the amendment to the DEP file number pursuant to the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw.
Second.
Second, discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Sandra Money in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're now at continued public hearing, notice of intent for 346 Lead Mine Road, owner AJ Services LLC, applicant/representative Dave Sadowski, DEP file number 300-1226, proposed project, new single-family home.
For the record, good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. My name is Dave Sadowski. I'm here from DJ and Associates, and I'm here with one of the owners of AJ Services, Elias Montero. Since our last meeting, we have made some significant changes to the plan. We've added a huge restoration, or a huge area where we're going to turn into a wetland. That is this. It looks like a home plate. The way that it comes across is wetland flag 19A, 20A, and 21A over in this area here. We would have over a 1-to-1 replication, and that would be for area that's in the 25 and the 50-foot setbacks from the wetland. There is no wetlands being filled on this property from our project. Now, previously, we had come in and we have 21 new plantings along the driveway to intercept any flow that would come off of there. And we spelled out there are 3 different types of plant species. They're bushes. They provide they provide food for wildlife. They provide shelter, and they will pick up any runoff from the road. We've left them on there. We also have some red maples planted down in this corner. We've doubled the erosion controls, and then we have this area here that we're going to turn into wetland, and that would make up for any disturbance that's in the 25 and the 50. Through this area. This calculations is actually a, on sheet 2, there is there's a cross-section to show how to accomplish this, showing where you start with the wetland, where the plantings would go, and how you would come out of the wetland. Do you have sheet 2 of 2?
This is only one page.
No, there's another small page.
Can you scan down?
Anyways, it's got, like, similar to Glenn's cross-section, how he shows when you're in the wetland, how you would come out of the wetland up into the buffer, and how you would stabilize coming out of that buffer, and how the plantings would go, and then it lists the number of plantings. I know it was sent over electronically, too.
What's the date on this one? The last one I have online is the 1st.
8/18 is the last revision, revision 9.
Which one's posted online?
Within the, I have 7/1,
I don't even have a 7-1.
unless it's in the meeting document someplace. I mean, other than the shading of the trapezoid, or the home plate, I like that one. The Red Sox are on a hot streak. Aside from the shading between, okay, good, awesome, thank you. There we go.
a second page that shows the cross-section of how the plantings will be accomplished. It also was, we took the stone mat that was gonna go with the entranceway, and we put that on that page to make clarity on the overall plan.
I think it's the
Is it this
second
one?
page.
Yes, that's the whole detail for doing the work in the actual area where currently there's upland area, and we'd be turning it into a wetland, and how would we come out of it, and where the wetlands are. Glenn had done a transit right at 20. We used the same type of plantings and the same type of bushes. And then the other side is the entranceway, the stone mat. That would show all the different plantings that would go into the home plate, and how it would be achieved to turn that into a wetland. Okay?
And you said the replication represents 1-to-1?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and this
Of
calculation
this area down here.
of this area of where the roadways are,
Right.
and those calculations are on that sheet, too. At the very bottom of it, it shows how we came up with the numbers. Right up in here.
Yeah.
Talks about in the 25, how much square foot, in the 50, how much square foot, and it talks about where they would go. It talks about all the species down and through here. It was all probably a week and a half ago that we dropped this off. And then what would be planted, and how to manage it.
Yeah, so that would be my question. Like, I mean, we're creating this, but how does it sustain itself? Well, we're not creating it, they're creating it. How
Yeah,
does it
and
sustain?
the thing is, we're gonna excavate down into the hydric soil, and the hydric soil is what will support the plant life. We've also shown that cross-section, the upland plants that would have to be put, and then we show an access way 10 feet wide with erosion control around it so that we can bring the vehicle in to pull back the earth and then make that mulch mix and then be able to get back out again. Then we provide notes on what to do with that access way once we're done planting the wetland species, on what to spray out and what to stabilize that area with. All that's been included on this plan, and it's also been included in the cross-section.
So outline the wetland as it is now.
All right, the wetland as it is now, right here is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So between going down the line from 18 to 19, I believe it's 12 feet up. Then it will travel to 20, then to 21, and then it will come straight across. So this 1020 grade here will be brought back to here, the 1020 grade. So there's only there's 1022. There's only a 1 foot change in elevation through this whole area. So we would scrape back anywhere from 6 to 18 inches, depending on where we hit the hydric soil. And then we would be able to put all the plantings in that area that would be wetland plantings.
What's in that area now?
Right now, there's upland plants.
Trees?
There are a couple trees, there's mountain laurel, there's things like, there was actually, Glenn did the transit right at 20A, and he shows what's on the top of this and what's on the bottom of it. As the wetland exists, that's where he did his boring, when he did this original flagging. And that was submitted to the commission before.
Slide down and see the house.
The house is outside, it's 51 feet away. It's going to have a full foundation. We actually have recharge for the house, even though we're not required.
Do you have to blast into the rocks though?
No, we don't. We actually went up there with a machine, and we dug down, and we got down 8 feet in the corners across the back. His test hole was done right up in here, and a test hole was done up in here. And it was noted before that, along this driveway, what would intercept some of the flow toward the wet. That's why we put those 21 plantings along there. If this drawing slides up, there's a description of what those plantings are. I think it can go further.
thoughts on this? As far as-
I still have the question of the new vegetation, if the existing canopy, and even once the tree canopy is modified, once the clearing is done, would the new plantings be able to survive with the vegetation over it, with the current tree canopies? And I would also request that the commission discusses if the replication area creates a new hardship on the property by bringing a wetland, once it's established, bringing a wetland now closer to the development, if that creates a hardship.
Well, right now, the house itself would still be over 50 feet away from this created wetland. This created wetland was done as, because of at the last meeting, it was brought up, what would we have to do? And you said that you wanted to have a replication for the work that was going to go on in the buffer zones. That's the reason that we're proposing putting this here.
So this, if I may.
Go ahead.
So this is in response to my questions around the hardship that was created by this A&R being done ahead of, right? I mean, we have to deal with the hardship issue, right? And so this is your proposal to deal with the hardship issue.
All right, and through the chair, these two lots were created in 71. We
I
only
understand that, but then you-
increased the size to make the driveway go further away and help so that we wouldn't be filling in the wetland. I mean, before that, we would have had a definite hardship, but we would have been putting it almost into the wetland itself, and it would have been worse for the ecology. By moving it over, you're saying that we lost our grandfather because we added extra land to put the driveway, which is kind of,
But actually, it's a new lot at this point because it has been recorded, the book and page we have for the new A&R.
correct, it's a
so
new, through the
it's
chair.
a new
It-
lot.
Correct.
I know it's a new lot, but the new lot was subdivided out of an old lot that previously had complications, so therefore.
Technically three
Right.
lots.
Right.
So, and this was,
I mean, through the chair, if I'll just
I could be wrong here, but this is easier that if we did just showed a little bit of patience and not gone ahead and subdivided this, or created this new property, and if it was left in state, because, right? Am I wrong about that thinking?
I mean,
Like,
there is no other
The fact
route.
that they went and created this while we were in the middle of this discussion, right, has now created a situation where anything that could have potentially, we could have pointed to, this lot was created in 1971 and it predated stuff, has now been completely negated, unfortunately, by the creation of this brand-new lot that now has this hardship that we have to deal with because of the creation of this brand-new lot. Had we just, not we, but had there been some patience to not rush this process, then we had a little bit more flexibility. At least the way that I am understanding the regulations. And so I'm conflicted here because we've been very clear that if you create your own hardship, that's not something. Now, you're telling me that your proposal is this replication to cover for that hardship, but that hardship still was just created within the period of the last few weeks.
But
through the chair, the reason was because there was a buyer that was for this house at this existing house over here, and they needed to see a legal description of the property. They needed to have that on record for them to get financing through the bank. And they didn't want to see an easement for a driveway, so we took and brought the land over so that this driveway could go further this way, get further away from the wetlands, and not complicate the closing on this house. That's the only reason that we did it. We didn't do it to...
And the closing ended up falling through because we couldn't get the approvals needed in time.
But wasn't the problem also they couldn't share driveway in any case?
Right, we couldn't share a driveway before, and then we were gonna put it adjacent to the existing driveway. The existing driveway is here, the proposed driveway was here, the old lot line was here before. We would have had to go up through, right up through here and up through the wetland, and we would have had to fill some wetland to get in. So what we did was we brought the line over so the driveway would get out of the wetland, it wouldn't even encroach into it. I mean, it wasn't like we're making a hardship where it's a worse situation. We actually made it wider so the driveway could fit in further away from the wetland.
I understand the perspective. I mean, I'm not trying to hassle you. I'm just trying to work through the various regulations and the hardship status we have always looked at very closely because we can't have people creating their own hardships and then coming back and asking us for exceptions. I understand the reasons for it, but we have to be very careful with the way that we apply these things for fear that we could be setting a dangerous precedent for ourselves. So that's what I'm working through here in my head, just so you know, right? This has always been a very difficult project. I mean, I said on site to you, right? You know, I don't know that I'd continue to spend the money on this because some sites are just not buildable. And we've continued down this path, and we're, you know, working with you on this. But this is a very challenging site. And I know we've come a very long way, so I appreciate the efforts that you've been making.
Yeah, I think we've done everything to make it so we could build a house there for, a young family to move in or somebody who is looking to downsize and preserve the wetlands and even add on to it, make it, I don't know, better. I don't know if you can make, what God made better.
So is there any yard, any grass, or is it?
You drop it down a little bit. Right there.
Yeah. Is there any grass? Yeah? Is any grass?
Oh,
or-
like
Or any yard? Do you have any yard in the property, or
What do you mean by yard?
meaning where children can play, or?
Well, again, we can't expand,
Right, exactly.
can't
Right at the
expand
edge of the buffer.
into the area. We could only you could go to the 25-foot setback, but we're not proposing any of that now because we're not exactly sure if
So
it's
why-
going to be a young family or who's going to be buying it. We want to have the least amount of disturbance possible, and if anyone wants to do any clearing, they should come to the
Right.
commission.
Right, so the question is that, so without any
Well, I mean,
yard or any?
up in here, this is going to be all grass. The area where the septic is and over it, we have some plantings of trees here.
go there.
This area here will be,
You cut all the trees there, or?
well, to put the septic system in, yes. And then in this area here, this area here is inside the erosion control, which is the limit of disturbance. So there would be some area right in here that would have some grass for the family, and over on the side here too, where we're putting the recharge pits, there's gonna be grass on top of that also. Those areas will have grass.
When you were here last, we talked about the excavation to put in the foundation, and you said that you would move off-site?
If we encounter boulders or rock, we would move them off-site and not stack them up on the property. That's what the commission would like.
Yeah, you rolled two of them into the buffer zone when you went and did your test bit, about the size of small cars.
Well, one of them was already there, the one over here on this corner. The other one did come out. Those could be taken, but again, we wanted to limit the disturbance in there. We just went in the machine to open the holes up.
Yeah.
We could take those out. We have the machine there.
Limit the disturbance too. I'm just trying to figure out a pattern of how we can.
Well, through the chair, I mean, the suggestion would be we could take some pictures of what is in that area now, and then once the excavation's done, compare the pictures and see if there's any extra rock or anything on the ground.
Yeah.
We would haul everything out and take it to another site. We didn't want boulders in there.
All right, well,
I have a question. Is 346 and 348 the same lot now?
Yes. Yeah, there's nothing, that 348 will never come in before the commission because it's being, the two lots are here. The lot line is there, but there's work from, this is right next to the boundary line. The old former lot line would be right in this area here. So since we're using both of those lots, there would never be someone come in to try to get a building on 348.
So they have been already merged with the, I don't know, like
yeah.
cadastral.
Yeah.
They've gone through the A&R process, through the planning board, the lots have been combined, and the lot line has been adjusted, and that's been recorded with the registry of deeds.
A&R means approval not required.
Okay.
Right, so that could never be a lot, and that could never come in before a commission.
Remind me, the erosion control barriers are set at the limit of clearing, is that what I remember from the last time?
That's correct. And we did tighten those up. They had been looped. The chairman pointed that out to us, that we had them looped before out in this area, and we tightened them up to get them around. Then we show an area where the excavation, as we discharge, would go, and the truck would be able to come and get and take out.
The access way that is being created to get to the replication area, will that be revegetated after the fact? It's
Yes,
not going to be left.
that will be revegetated afterwards. We do have a note here about the straw wattle to be installed in the access way, and then it talks about a replication area, the access to it, and then it talks in the notes about putting a seed mix and any plantings that are required in that area.
The, I don't want to exacerbate the situation, but I'm having serious, one concern I have is I don't know if a replication area on that site is a bright idea. I don't mean whether it's from conservation or whether it's from you guys, but it just seems to me like more damage to a site. I'd have to go out and take a look at it, but I went out and looked at the test holes, and I felt that that was enough to prove that it's such a hard site. I mean, what's the slope on that hillside above?
It drops.
It's extremely, it's a lot, there's a lot more slope over in this area here than there is here. I can say that. I don't have a number on it, and I don't want to inadvertently say the wrong number.
Well, it drops 24 feet in the span of 50 feet from the 100-foot to the 50-foot, right?
Right.
Basically, 'cause that's at 1050, and it drops to 1026 essentially,
Yeah.
give or take.
Yeah.
Where would you put the replication area?
Well, that's where they have it in the base, the gray area.
Where, I think what Carson was saying was, where do you think a better area for the replication would be then?
Oh, no, I was not recommending a better area for replication. I was talking about no replication.
Oh.
Just that I'm not firm on. The other problem that I have with it is that the way that it loops in, it really puts a real hardship on any critters that live in that wetland as far as where they can go. They can't go to the road, they can't go to the driveway, can't go to the house. It's like encirculant. So-
Right, the undisturbed area would be over in here.
Right.
Or it'd be across the street like they go now.
Yeah, if they get across the street.
There is also wetland behind the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a culvert that goes under, and then there's wetland on the other side of the road.
Eric? You yelled at me the last time I preempted you. Are you ready to vote on this?
I'd like Lauren's opinion on that
You can also,
as well. Like this replication area, are we improving the site, right? I mean, obviously, we're not improving the site, but is replication in this area, does that provide enough improvement to justify the approval of the overall project? Or are we just horse trading one problem for another? I mean, to Ed's point, right, I mean, who's to even say that we can replicate a wetland, because we get 6 inches below the surface and it's all rock.
Right, yeah.
Right? So I like the idea. I like thinking outside the box. Everybody knows
Yeah.
that. But
No,
I
I
just
do.
don't know enough about whether or not that's going to overcome the other ills that are associated with this project that really have not been squared since day one.
I think one of the initial concerns was bisecting the watershed, because you are putting impervious surfaces and structures in between the slope and the wetland, which is feeding it, so. And also, I would recommend considering, as it was discussed, trees and vegetation need to be removed, and 25-foot buffer area needs to be disturbed to create a wetland. So there is a significant temporary disturbance and removing existing established vegetation to create that area.
But do you think it can be done in terms of?
I mean, it can be done, yeah. But is it good? I think the kind of going to the question,
Is the juice worth the
good-
squeeze?
Right.
Right.
If I could just comment through the chair, the only really place to put a replication, if it's going to be a wetland, is up against the wetland line, so it would have to be in the 25-foot area. I mean, you can't create a wetland 50 feet away from the wetlands. You never get to the hydric soil.
Right. No, I wasn't arguing that point either.
Right. I just wanted to, I don't know, I just thought I had to point that out. I mean, it's a unique area where this would go, since the wetland is up to here, and the wetland is up to here, and there's this finger in here that's an upland. To be able to put it in there, it almost makes the ideal place, and it's right by where the driveway is right now, so it's right in the same type of area where the vegetation is here, that's not a wetland vegetation, it's an upland vegetation that would be removed, and wetland vegetation would be put in, so there'd be a gain in wetland of 1,800 square feet compared to this being an upland area, and then there'd be extra plantings along this roadway to be able to take in any of the, and at one point, we had talked about making that gravel. And then we were told that it would be better if it was paved because the gravel would wash into the wetlands, so that's why there's an impervious surface there.
Yeah.
We had wanted to be gravel in the beginning, or grass.
So, Ed, to answer your question, I think we're probably at the point where we have beat this up enough times that we should probably, I don't know that there's any other additional things that can be done that's gonna remove anybody's vote. So my bias would be to ask the applicant if they want us to close the public hearing and move to a vote, and I would be happy to make that motion.
You can also, once you close the hearing, obviously no new information can be presented, but you all can deliberate amongst yourselves and discuss it with no other input too.
Yep.
I guess through the chair, I'd just like to point out that when we first started, the house was 40 feet from the wetland line, and we've worked it back, where we're outside the 50, and we no longer have to ask for a waiver for the house. I just want to,
There's still a waiver because the driveway's in the 50.
I understand there's still a driveway, but I want to say that the house, we've worked the plan, we've had different variations of the house, we've downsized the house, we moved the house to get it outside the 50. I just, if we're going to be at the end here, I just want to put that into public record, that we've worked to move and get that out of the way, and,
You have. Nobody's saying that you haven't.
And I mean, if the
And the
commission,
other thing on the wetland,
if the commission would like the roadway to be, the driveway to be gravel, we'd be more than happy to change the word that says paved, so it wouldn't be an impervious surface.
yes, some of that's great, but
All right,
we're also it's a continual evolution, so.
all right, thank you.
There's an impervious, I think when we started the impervious road was not regarded to be a good thing. I bet.
What'd you say, Carson?
And the impervious surface for the road was, the pervious.
Pervious surface.
Right, that wasn't a good idea, my understanding.
Changing from impervious to gravel still requires the waiver for the new structure in the 50, because
but-
under our definition, structure is defined as
that's not-
any man-made or man-assembled impervious or partially impervious combination of materials, and includes but is not limited to buildings, asphalt driveways, retaining walls, patios, swimming pools, shed, decks, porches, framework, or any part thereof existing on, above, or below the level of land or water. So that's just what our definition says.
So asphalt driveways, does that so does,
That's an example, yes.
it's an example.
But it's, yes.
Which one
But
is better?
man-made or man-assembled impervious or partially impervious
And it dropped a
combination
lot,
of
actually.
material.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that.
So would it make a difference? There are, I've read about and seen solutions that, kind of fancy places use so they can have parking on grass that does not create ruts. It's almost like it's a poly substance, a plastic substance that goes in, almost like it's like the egg containers.
So
And it goes
like a turf.
right, it's at surface level, and then grass is planted in there to stabilize it and keep it in place, but because it has structure to it, it doesn't go, it won't rut.
Does that material contain PFAS? There's also new studies with turf fields now and the impacts of PFAS.
Eric, I think we gotta, I think you're outside the box is
Okay,
good,
yeah.
but I think we're.
Okay.
Eric, I have seen that picture of that plastic that goes in there, look like little egg holders, and it goes into the grass area, and you're gonna allow something that'll be permeable, or it'll be able to pass water all the way through, and it has stability.
So, I guess,
You said you want to vote.
I don't know what to do. I would like to make a motion to close the public hearing with the applicant's approval. Okay.
Yes, I would like just to point one thing out. So down here in this area, this is already an area that is disturbed. So we're not disturbing in this area. The part where the disturbance is once we cross in here and the entrance. So we're replicating the whole thing, right, Dave? So it's not, we're not even replicating where we're going to disturb. We're replicating the whole thing, the area that was. This is right now still
It's
part of the
grass.
driveway.
It's grass.
Yeah, and gravel and grass.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to point that out. So it's a very, it's smaller even than what we're gonna, or we propose to do to mitigate anything.
No, I think we understand that. We do. But that, the effort, I think is, I don't know. I can't think of any other way to go.
Yeah. Well, Fleur, you smartly brought up the replication. Does that satisfy what your, request was?
So, like for me, yes. And like for me, this is a very difficult project. I don't know if we discussed this like within the meeting or like after we close it. But so for me, if this would be kind of like a new project without the hardships and all these things, like it was.
It would be a house site without a house on it.
Sorry?
It would be a house site without a house on it, is what it'll be in there. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yes, what I mean is that if like someone will come and propose this, I think given the other projects that we've been seeing, I think like for me, considering that it's also the site next to it has also a continuation of a wetland, and the wetland that is at the north of the property, is it north? What is the north? I think it's the north of the property. No, actually it's not. It's the east of the property. The west of the property. It's like my geography. I think there will be connectivity for biodiversity, looking from the biodiversity perspective. At the same time, this site has created that hardship. And by approving it, I'm concerned of setting precedent. So I'm very torn about this. So that's kind of like my comment. I really don't know.
I gotta be honest. This is, you know, I've looked to work on getting to yes in all situations. Since day one, I've thought that this is a very difficult project on a very difficult piece of land, and not every land is intended to be built upon. And I applaud the efforts to try to make it happen. I just don't think this is an approvable project. I'm sorry. And I know that probably is not what you want to hear, but that's the reality of where I'm kind of sitting. It's just not a piece of land that I think should be built on. And I don't know that I've really wavered from that since day one. And this is not making my gut say that this is any different. So, anyway.
Well, I guess we have to bring it to a close here.
does.
Do you want to take a vote on this? I don't know of anything I can recommend that you go back and do.
Well, since your other member resigned that was here for the meetings, we'd have to get all four, and we're never going to get Eric to think
No,
this is
you
a
can
good
get
project.
three. You only need three.
You only need three.
But
I mean, if through the chair, since you let me speak, I really think that, you know, we've listened to the commissioners, we listened to whatever, and anything that's been asked, we've tried to implement and do. We put plantings along the driveway, like it was just pointed out, most of that driveway up to the shed is already a grassed area, and we're still doing replication for it, and we're actually creating a wetland, even though none of that land that we're in is in the wetland. I mean, if we had left the line, it would have been over further. You're not setting a precedent because people aren't going to buy extra land to lose a grandfather. I mean, you know, if that's what we're talking about, we took the extra land to move the driveway further out so there'd be no problem with the closing. If we left it where it is, there'd be a lot more invasive. We'd have the grandfather we'd have, a lot from 1971, both of them. Plus, we combined two lots to put together that we can't build on. We can only build on one of them now.
We are at a point, all of those things, you've already said those even this evening. And nobody is saying they didn't do a good job of evolving the project.
I'm just pointing it out for, you know, it's up to the owner of the property if he wants to vote tonight or not.
You want to do?
You can close the hearing.
Close the public hearing?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Seconded?
Yep.
Discussion. Now, this is discussion that we have, and you aren't in.
Right.
Okay. You know,
If
everybody
you
goes-
guys have a reason I should listen differently, I will listen to you. I don't, I'm not inflexible.
I think this is pushed as far as it can be. I mean, if you don't accept the replication area,
Yeah, it's been improved from when they first brought it to us. I feel that it's been improved dramatically.
Right.
Except that, and I'm only speaking for myself, I know what it will look like if we put a replication area in there at the same time, and all the good things can be said, but it's not going to be pretty, it's not going to be, we don't need pretty, but I'm just saying that it would not be a good replication area. I think the site is horrible. They went in and pushed the house up, over and out, which I was amazed that you could do it. But I just don't think that we have buildable site here. I think that's the problem I have. The corner down on, you could get me on a lot of different things. Like, I could, pragmatically, if we cut a corner on a to go in, I have no problem with that as a single issue. But the whole site is really tough. I can't, in its present form, I can't approve it.
My concern is setting precedent on.
I understand.
On like
I'm
the.
not disagreeing with your
Oh,
point.
no, and I'm not disagreeing with
Yeah.
yours either. I was just making mine.
Yeah.
Setting precedent that land that is not buildable is approved for being built. Also, or like land that, let's say, like buy like a huge piece of land and subdivide it in 50 pieces, and like now we're like trying like to get build up on all those. I don't want that our decision
Right.
may set a precedent for others doing that same thing, and that is why I'm very
Carson?
torn about this project, even though like the applicants put so much effort in like trying like to make it work.
I mean, they put in a lot of effort. I mean, it's really close to the wetland, and it doesn't give you much space to live in there, I mean, in some sense. I mean, I'm not sure anybody should want to build there, so, but that's your choice. Yeah, it's probably one of the worst areas that has come across since I've been on the board, so it's probably not a good site. So I assume you wouldn't get 3 votes, but. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to vote. Anybody else have any comments? Eric?
All right, we're voting to close the public hearing.
Voting closed. Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
Oh, we closed it? No,
We
we
didn't roll call.
we haven't closed it yet. We had our comment, so.
Yeah.
Eric Gaspar, in favor?
Closing.
Goodwin in favor. Closing the public hearing.
Closing, yes. Saint Germain in favor.
Carsten Stüber in favor?
With regards, I mean, does somebody, with regards to the project at DEP file number 346 Lead Mine Road, DEP file number 300-1226, I'd like to make a motion to deny the project
Want to do the waivers first?
Deny the waiver for disturbance within the 25-foot buffer.
Get me confused.
Do I have
Okay.
a second?
Well,
Second.
second, yeah, and then.
Second.
Yeah, you still have to do all 4 votes like you would normally.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So if we don't give the waiver, that's it.
Yeah.
Then that's denial under the bylaw, but you still have to do all 3 procedurally.
All right.
So,
Any further, oh,
4 seconded, correct?
Second.
That was seconded.
I seconded.
discuss,
Okay. Karsten seconded?
so
Seeing
since I
none.
made the motion for the denial, I am approving the denial, right? Eric Gaspar approved,
In favor.
in favor?
of the denial. Carsten,
Carsten Stuber in favor.
of the denial.
It's like so confusing, like what about it? Okay, let me think about it. Saint Germain abstains on this one. Because I had to think about it.
Ed Goodwin is in favor of the denial.
With regards to the project at 346 Lead Mine Road, DEP file number 300-1226, I'd like to make a motion to deny the waiver within the 50-foot buffer.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none,
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Saint Germain abstains.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project
Flor, did you abstain again? or-
Abstain.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
at 346 Lead Mine Road, DEP file number 1226, I'd like to make a motion to deny the project under the Wetlands Protection Act.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor.
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Saint Germain abstains.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
And with regards to the project at 346 Lead Mine Road, DEP file number 300-1226, I'd like to make a motion to deny the project under the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor.
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Saint Germain abstains.
Okay. That's it, right?
Sorry, folks.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Good night. Okay, give me your explanation of the abstain.
Lots of work on that.
It's.
You wouldn't even have anything to play.
Look at that.
Candy if you need to lift your mood.
Candy.
Over the lane.
Like that.
It would go
That's
into the
why-
wetland.
That's why you can't play abstain because of that.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Kids all hanging in there?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
2 pregnant, one's getting married.
2? You've got two grandbabies chambered? Is that what you said?
2 different daughters, having another child.
Awesome.
That's good. That's excellent.
That's fantastic. That, of course,
Trying
you're
to
not
outrun
excited. You're not
Ed.
excited
I'm
for
trying to
that.
outrun Ed with grandchildren here, but
I'm all done. You know, you can walk now and you can still pass me. Christ. Jamie's 42 tomorrow. My baby.
your youngest child or
My youngest child.
42?
42.
Yeah.
So we, I shouldn't tell this, but so I said, Carol and I want to take him out, she and Parisa out to dinner, which, you know. So we called him and he said, yeah, that's a great idea. So then Carol talks to him again this afternoon. And no, he says, I can't, you know, can't do it. She's just being a little, the granddaughter, you know.
It happens. I need some water. I hate that. Okay.
right. Continuing public hearing for notice of intent for 235 Cedar Street, owner applicant Ryan and Brooke Czar, Representative Mark Farrell, Green Hill Engineering, DEP file number 300-1238, proposed project, construct a single-family home on an undeveloped lot.
So we've been here a couple of meetings, and basically, I think the last meeting, there was a little bit of questions on the history of the lot. So I delved into it as best I could, and it looks like around 1988, Michael Young, who lives in this house here, there's a house up here, filed for some permits, and he received a superseding order of conditions to put some driveways in. There was 4 lots there, one of which he built upon. And I think what he did is, I tried to get that original order of conditions. It's about 34 years old. The DEP's moved several times. They don't have a record. Sturbridge has moved several times. They don't have a record. And it was never recorded. Fast forward about 34 years later, and I think Michael Young wanted to do something with these lots, so he filed again, and it became known that there was a superseding order of conditions, and it appeared that none of the wetlands replications were done, that they would have been required to put a driveway in.
Yeah.
And culverts weren't put in place.
Right.
So, and I think what there was 4 lots, and I think at that time, what they did is, this driveway was in, and then the driveway that the house has been built upon was in, and then there's one more lot in between. And I think what they did is they combined 2 lots, which is the one built on now, so they reduced it from 4 to 3 lots.
Could be, yeah.
And so, and then a year later, the gentleman who bought these next 2 lots that were combined has built the house upon those lots. And I think what happened was I spoke with Becky trying to get records and see if they had anything in the back files or whatever, but there were no records for the original superseding order of conditions. Her recollection is they were going to do a culvert here and do some sort of replication on this lot, and the other driveway that had a driveway put in back in the 80s, the same thing, put a culvert in to make hydraulic connectivity between the wetland where the fill was and to do a replication area. But it was her understanding that the replication area, at the time, they decided to do it all in one lot because it'd be less disruptive than to move into 2 different places on these lots and do 2 separate replications. That kind of makes sense because I look back and I roughly added up these 2, of course, Lenny's retired with no records.
How's he doing? Have you talked to him?
I haven't talked to him.
No, I haven't either.
But I think his memory was slipping a little bit, so he might not remember back to 88.
Yeah.
But that lower lots, the 2 that were combined, have done, and it's in the process, I don't know if it's all been signed off, doing a replication area of around 4,800 square feet.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me, but I got confused when you talked about it before, because I remember it being, down
below.
Down below, yeah.
Yeah.
And we did agree to just the one replication area.
Okay.
Other than we did say that, because Young's house was in.
Correct.
That was in way back.
Right.
So that's pretty much all I have. The culvert was to
And
be
that would make sense, because if you add up a very conservative estimate of what might have been altered to put those driveways in, I came up with about 4,100 square feet.
Oh, really?
And the
Okay.
replication was in the order of 4,600 square feet. So that's my understanding of what's there. I did propose a replication on this area here that would account for, you know, the approximate amount of area might have been disturbed here. I mean, we're just speculating because we don't have the plans. So my client is willing to do that. I mean, if you feel it's necessary, but I think it was incorporated into the lower two lots that are built on.
I do too. You know, in fact, I know it.
Maybe.
I think the grander concern wasn't, was mostly
What's that?
around, I think the grander concern that I had was around, you know, making sure that that superseding order, you know, can be we can move forward without it being closed out, but you're saying it was never even recorded.
No, that was-
So does it even exist? Is it a rumor? Are we twisting ourselves in knots off of a
I
rumor?
mean, we don't have strong evidence, but, yeah, I mean,
There's some evidence in a
Yeah.
DEP file or something about it.
Right, but there's no record of
But
it,
there's
so
no
it's like
record
we
of it.
can't do anything with
Well,
it.
you know,
Yeah, right.
if you, my feeling is that when Mike Young built his house, that's when they took the actions.
Yeah.
Maybe or maybe not.
But I don't think it
That was
matters.
back in the late 80s,
Right.
and I know for a fact that a lot of, like, I didn't start getting into business till the early 90s.
Yeah.
And I think earlier on, a lot of order of conditions never really got recorded.
Yeah.
They basically, they would just, people would get them a permit, and they would say, we're good to go, and then he would start the next day.
Right.
So they were,
So from my perspective, being a young guy and having no memory at all, and it doesn't exist, I think we take this lot the way it is, and I think you should have a replication area. Because I don't care what happened before. I mean, you say you don't know whether there was a replication or not. So I think the best way to proceed is just to take this lot, you disturb the area, you replicate the area. And that seems to be.
and I believe that area is, from my memory, that area is all filled with invasive species anyway, so clearing
Yeah.
it out to do the replication area is still an improvement.
Yeah.
I still stay with the fact that there is an open order of conditions on this site as part of the other DEP number, and I still think that this homeowner should request a partial certificate of compliance, so that way he can cut ties with that order and not be held liable for anything under that.
But do
and then
we have-
issue the new one.
Is there a record of this?
Yes,
order?
of yep, this is the DEP order that was the more recent one. I know I have the date somewhere.
I think that was the one that encompasses all the lots is
It was all three, right?
1107.
Right.
Yeah.
And any word up from Ken on the well, if he's gonna let you keep it?
I'm
I
gonna,
think that was the other
yeah,
outstanding
and
issue.
I'm gonna continue to talk with Kim, because I believe this well was put in the 80s. So he's concerned that it doesn't meet Sturbage's, and he again doesn't have a record of it being put in, but I think it was so long ago, the Board of Health doesn't have good records there, so it was probably, you know, they might have gotten a permit for it.
So this well is in the wetland area too?
I have no record of it. I mean, I remember seeing it there,
Well,
the well,
yeah,
and but it predated my
It's a well in the
memory
wetland
anyway.
area?
right.
Is the well in the
I would
wetland
bet
area?
you nickel it's 225 feet deep, just by the,
Or the well in the wetland?
Probably is.
what we were doing back in those days,
Right.
you know, and that's what it is.
I think we should just, I mean, my recommendation would be is to test the well, and if the water's clean and sufficient quantity, then it's a good well. I mean, it's close proximity to the wetlands, but
Is that decision ultimately up to Ken?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, we have an alternate place to put a well right here that would meet all the Title V and all the other requirements.
Okay, good.
If the well is approved, you will need to bring that water to the house. What will be the,
You would have to dig a water line here underneath the driveway, existing driveway, and then connect it to the house here.
Is putting in that water line going to cause a problem for that culvert? Or would it
No,
go
go
under,
underneath
would
the
it go
culvert.
underneath?
Culvert's gonna be more or less close to the surface of the ground.
Yeah.
So that water can connect between the two systems. And the water line would have to be a minimum of 4 to 5 feet down.
Oh, okay, so they're
for
not gonna,
frost
they're not gonna be
protection.
in
So it's
conflict with
completely
each other?
underneath it, yeah.
Okay.
So the house is how far away from the wetland?
So it's pretty much in the 200, between the 100 and the 200.
Yeah, so here's 50 feet from the wetland, this line here, and this is 100 feet from the wetland in the back. Actually, this is 100 feet from the wetland in the back. That's 100 feet from the wetland in the back. So this wetland system here, this is the 50-foot offset right here. So the house is outside the 50-foot.
So it's about, 80 feet-ish?
The distance?
Yeah.
I would say it's probably 65 feet.
Oh, okay. Oh,
At
you're
least
going,
60.
you're going to the front of the porch?
Yeah, the porch
okay.
right here.
Yeah, okay. I was looking more, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And remind me, did you address the DEP comments with the river? This riverfront area or perennial stream or? Did we?
There's no
EP
flow from the
comments, or-
front, yeah, that's, the drainage coming from the front just goes into a wetland with DVW, so there's no stream flow stats for this lot.
Yeah.
They were looking for stream stats, or?
Well, if, determining if there was a stream, but there isn't.
There isn't a stream there, no.
The only flow comes from the runoff from the road.
Right. So there's no channel in here. There's hardly any water in there at all. I mean, it's basically about as dry as a wetland can be. There's no
And
water
this-
stained leaves, there's no evidence there's standing water there.
This wetland here does a tremendous job at capturing all the runoff from the road. Because when Heather and I went to go look at the driveway issue, because also, there's drainage right here that the property owner's responsible for. But when it comes out here, there's a big natural berm. So there's no flooding, no soft grass or anything. This is very significant wetland that does a great job doing what it needs to do for flood control too. And I think that this is minimal disturbance to that area because it's already disturbed. And going back to the commission has already basically approved the fact that a wetland historically had been filled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we already accepted that. So, and we don't need to do anything with the driveway, because that's already been approved, right?
The grade.
Well,
yeah.
The grade.
Yeah, the grade has been approved. Heather will grant the waiver
Yeah.
for the grade, and the fire department is fine as long as, once they get there, the fire truck can get down, but they did say that even if a fire truck can't get down, they shouldn't have an issue reaching from the top of the driveway. And that was something that we had worked with Markwood too, with keeping that flat slope up there, that there will not be any concern of providing emergency access to the property owners in case of an emergency.
Okay, and it's, just from a order of operations standpoint, you think it's required that they request the partial before we move on this application, or is that just a suggestion that you're making that can be done after the fact?
I mean, technically you can have multiple DEP file numbers on a single parcel.
Right.
Procedurally, it really wouldn't make a difference, but I would just strongly recommend that the homeowner does it so that way they're not liable for this down the road.
Right.
So I looked it up, and what happened is there is an order of conditions for, I think, 231, this one and the next lot down, but it got attached to his deed here, Michael Young's.
So yeah,
So
if
there's no-
your client requests a partial that basically detaches him,
Right.
severs the tie
Yeah.
that he is not responsible for that, It
Right.
stays with those or other properties. We have, you know, we have another certificate of compliance that's coming up, that's a house in the preserve, that's a part of the whole order of conditions, but we're branching off that one, which unfortunately happens with these multiple lot situations sometimes. But because we are granting a whole other, or assuming, if we move forward with this and the commission grants a whole other set of order of conditions, that we want those to be the ones that stick, not the other ones, because we're not, you know, this is gonna be slightly different from what was originally required. I just don't wanna have any liability issues. So, I mean, procedurally, it really won't make a difference. I just strongly recommend that it get done sooner than later.
The plan that is presented here is not the same one that is online. Do we have access?
Which one's online?
Right, it's like, the one that is online is, does it have a version? It's showing the driveway, kind of like entering through the southern part of Cedar and.
Yeah, that was the other proposed plan. Right. Mark? That angle in?
Yeah, we had a second plan. We had talked about putting the driveway
Right.
Down there, but that would have involved more disturbance on the slope going down.
We all agreed.
Yeah, and the question was, is whether Heather, the DPW has to sign off on it, and so Lauren and Heather went out there and they made the determination. So that we did have one revised plan that showed the driveway going down there. But after we spoke with Heather, and I think when we were on the site walk, what kind of was, the feeling might have been that this other driveway might be less disturbance to the whole area if we could utilize it.
Right.
And that's what we went back to on the final plan.
Right. You have any more questions?
I don't, I'm good.
So you will put in the one replication area?
Say it again, please?
You will put in the replication area?
It's up to the board. So, I mean, I think it was done, in best of my opinion, it was done and committed for one of the other lots. But if the board wants to do another replication area, then we can certainly do it.
I mean, in terms
Up
of
to the discretion of the
consistency
board.
with the other project, I think.
Yeah,
I think we should be consistent across projects.
I agree with you, but the Conservation Commission deemed that 4,000 square foot area on the other lot to be the only replication that was necessary for Michael Young to move forward. So.
But do we have a record that this was done, or that?
On the other properties it was done. We have a record of that.
We have a record of that?
Yeah.
There's not and I mean, there isn't a certificate of compliance on that one too.
That's it.
So, and this is a separate filing.
Right. And the other thing, these lots were all deemed by the town as unbuildable. Michael Young paid taxes on them as unbuildable lots.
For the past 2 years?
What?
Like, before he bought them, or
I don't know when he got it on him,
Yeah.
or how long it was. I think we should put-
The same,
I think,
because that we were in the other one.
I think we're in a position where we can move forward with this.
Right.
I don't think it's gonna, I think,
Without
getting the approval from Heather to not disturb the land further, there's questions as to, wasn't Lenny convinced that he had done some replication on that property at one point, but we just couldn't prove it? And the reality is, with all the invasive that's in there right now, the landowner might just very well want to come to us at a future date and say, I'd like to pull out those invasives because it's just gonna, it's likely to be an eyesore for him. And then at that point,
So Eric, are you for the replication area or?
I think it's already been done, right? So,
We are dealing in hypotheticals, maybe.
no, we know that the replication was done on the other property, right? And that's what there was
There's
never.
no record of all, at all. Where's the record that the replication was done? I mean, I think we have to be consistent
We
here.
have Ecotech reports showing that there was at least one monitoring of a replication area. But then it kind of fizzled after that. So we don't know if it met the full requirements and if it still has.
I mean, I see it as a separate project. I don't know.
So what would I'm not gonna,
I
I don't.
I mean, in terms of
It sounds as if
consistency,
the landowner is willing to do something, and there's
exactly.
invasives in there anyway. So what would your recommendation be, Mark?
Well, I would say, just do it.
Okay. And where,
Because,
where would it need
it
to
would be easy to do it here, there's no big trees, it's all been cleared. You could
And it could be done-
potentially pull out those invasives, although you still have the seed bank in there. And if you planted something like speckled alders in there, they thrive in an open area with a lot of sun, they're bushy, they provide a lot of habitat, they grow quickly, and they might outrun at least the lower story
Overall, it's a
invasives.
benefit, yeah.
They wouldn't outrun bittersweet, that would just give bittersweet something nice to climb up, so basically, but that would be, and then they could kind of clear up these invasives, and, it's not like we're gonna take away a bunch of mature trees in here,
Right.
they're gone.
All right, well, then that
So we
satisfies
can-
Carson's need.
Exactly.
Right,
It's
so-
probably
good.
better for the homeowner anyway, and they're willing to do it. Let's build that into the order of conditions. Okay.
We have to be consistent.
All right, anybody in the audience like to speak to this?
No, thank you.
All right, I would like to make a
Are you a
motion
reporter
to
or an abutter?
close the public hearing.
I'm just an observer.
Second.
Eric Gaspar in favor?
St. Germain in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
All right, with regards to the project at 235 Cedar Street, under DEP file number 300-1238, I'd like to make a motion to approve the waiver. Oh, this one's a 50-foot first. You really are trying to keep me on my toes today. For a temporary disturbance within the 50-foot buffer.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
St. Germain in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project of 235 Cedar Street, DEP file number 300-1238, I'd like to make a motion to provide a waiver for a new structure within the 25-foot buffer zone.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
St. Germain in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project at 235 Cedar Street, DEP file number 300-1228, or was that 38? I'm sorry, 1238. Yes, 1238, just for the record. I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Wetlands Protection Act with the conditions as noted in the draft order of conditions and the additional condition of replication of the wetland pursuant to the discussion that we had today.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
St. Germain in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project at 235 Cedar Street, DEP file number 300-1238, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw with the conditions as noted before, and also an additional condition of a security in the form of bond or deposit to the town of Sturbridge in the amount of $7,000 to be held until satisfactory completion of the work.
Second.
Discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Saint Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Get him to release that order of conditions, partially.
Get that
We need
shotgun
more
oiled up and
happy.
get that
What's
dog
that?
out. Get that shotgun oiled up and get that dog out. I don't think there are too many pheasant in your area.
No, and I think he's gun shy. She's gun shy.
Oh, you think that's how, oh,
I don't know, but I mean,
Dog is gun
fireworks
shy?
go off. What's that?
Your hunting dog is gun shy?
I think so. Because the fireworks go off and she just runs, you know, so it's, on the lake.
lots of the ears.
What's that?
If she, when I had a collie and he wasn't afraid of guns, but it hurt his ears when
Yeah,
he would go under my parents' bed.
right.
The only thing.
That's not a good hunting dog.
No.
No, I don't hunt. I let her go in the woods and she hunts on her own. I mean, chipmunks and,
Everything.
I think she tangled with the skunk. But she wasn't aggressive and I think she was just kind of in the fog.
Oh, really? Didn't get
Because
really nailed?
I could just smell it. She was barking like crazy. I couldn't see what it was. And then she came back. She had to fight the slight scent of a skunk. So I don't think she like got right in his, right in his space. But
Enough.
in the fog.
Maybe she found him as roadkill or something.
No, it was way in the woods, and she
Oh,
was
okay.
barking like crazy, and I didn't know where she was. And by the time she came back,
Funny.
yeah.
Porcupines are what you don't want them to find.
Yeah, I don't want that, but I don't think she's aggressive enough to, attack or try to paw or, corner an animal like that. I think she would just kind of stay back a little bit.
Yeah.
At least that's my hope. All right,
All
good
right.
night. Thank
Take
you
it
very
easy.
much.
Yeah.
My daughter's new kitten caught a mouse, and she
Why
was
she a present?
playing with it in the hallway and literally just tossing it in the air, and I'm trying to retrieve it from her, and she threw it right at me. Dead mouse. Goes and grabs it. I had to hold her over the trash and kind of like pry her mouth open to get her to release it.
I just came from the vet with x-rays and all that because my dog got into the garbage.
Oh, jeez. Well, my dog broke my finger, so.
Oh, no. These dogs.
But we love them.
Yeah.
They're
So,
great.
Carly's a good girl.
All right, we are at 30 River Road, notice of intent.
Applicant's requesting to continue till October 9th for the same reasons, trying to button
Right.
up the other issues.
Motion to continue the public hearing and with regards to DEP file number 300-1240 until October 9th, you said?
Correct.
Yeah, October 9th.
2 meetings out.
All right?
Can we ask them about alternatives for both Dicrot and glyphosate?
Yep.
Sure.
That would be
I
awesome.
think that would,
I think
since,
there was still some things with the DEP comments that needed to be addressed too, so, but I'll make sure they have that ready based off of tonight's
All in favor?
discussion.
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor?
Saint Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Down to,
15, I think.
yep,
Oh, wow. It's only 9 o'clock.
97 South Shore Road, request for a certificate of compliance, DP file number
just regular shore.
300-1188.
regular shore, not South Shore. But this was a demo and rebuild on an existing single-family home.
Regular Shore, okay, I'm sorry.
The only deviations was the well was 2 feet off from where it was originally proposed, and they cut off the front porch. So slightly reduced the footprint. Other than that, it's ground is stable, house looks great, no concerns. Recommendation to issue certificate of compliance with perpetual conditions 48 through 53.
All right, with regards to the project at 97 Shore Road, DEP file number 300-1188, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 48 through 53.
Second.
Discussion, seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Okay, 6 Picker Road.
Do you want to wait for floor?
request for a certificate of compliance, DP 300.
We only need 3 votes.
True. So this was a commercial development, cold storage with stormwater controls and a replication area. This request for certificate of compliance initially came through September 17th of last year, but there was not a final operation and maintenance plan, and the stormwater basins were not designed according to plan. They were actually deeper, 2 to 6 feet deeper, which increased the storage, so it's not a loss there, but they did want to, confirm all that, and they had it resurveyed with the basins. I've been out to the site several times, twice when it was raining, one when it was torrentially downpouring, and everything was performing to plan. The replication area is holding. We did recently just issue a tree removal permit, not for trees that were in the replication area, but for outside of it. They were falling over, and through that added a couple other shrubs that weren't going to go up to the power line area. But at this point, everything has met the requirements, and I would like to recommend that we issue the certificate of compliance. Why don't I have the perpetuals in there? And I would also like to add that the final operation and maintenance plan gets recorded with the Registry of Deeds as well. That way there's no, I lost it. It's there. We have it.
Good.
All right.
With regards to the project at 6 Picker Lane, I'd like to make a DP file number 300-1062. I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the additional condition of registering the, with the Registry of Deeds.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
I'm abstaining just because I wasn't listening.
Got it.
To the last one.
Okay. Now, 120 New Boston Road, request for a certificate of compliance, 300-471.
120 is part of the preserve? Really?
So 120 was the preserve
Oh.
overall. The request itself is, sorry, I thought I had that in there. But it's actually for a house that is out of our jurisdictional area. For 21, doesn't on the cover letter. That's your cover letter. 21 to 120. Definitely wrote down the house number, but. I forgot exactly which.
Are you looking for 120?
No, 120 is the whole thing.
You can vote in my place.
I'll hold down the fort.
Okay, yeah, that is the house I thought it was.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think it is, yep, so 20 Audubon. So it's out of the wetlands, way out of here. The project's outside of the 200, so,
So,
but they need to branch themselves off, similar to kind of what we're recommending for 235 Cedar. So it's just a partial certificate of compliance.
With regards to the
No
project at 120 New Boston Road, I'd like to, DP file number 300-471, I'd like to make a motion to issue a partial certificate of compliance.
second.
Well, you know what? Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor? Eric Gaspar in favor?
St. Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
I can do that. I technically, I'm supposed to take over when Ed's not here. All right, 18, 227 Podunk Road, request for certificate of compliance, SEC file number 20-64.
Project was for a new single-family home with septic. 18, 19, 20, and 21 are all the same developer. The only portion of the project that was within jurisdiction is the septic, which has a valid Title V and was designed according to plan, no concerns. Recommendation to issue a certificate of compliance with perpetual conditions 46 through 48.
With regards to the project at 227 Podunk Road, SEC file number 20-64, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 46 through 48.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Sherman in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin abstain.
Want to take over at 19?
All right, 19, huh? I can do that. 231 Podunk Road, request for a certificate of compliance. SCC number 21-05.
Pretty much the same as last project, new single-family home with septic, only the septic was in jurisdiction, valid Title V, no concerns, recommendation to issue a certificate of compliance with perpetual conditions 46 through 48.
All right. With regards to the project at 231 Podunk Road, SEC file number 21-05, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with perpetual conditions of 46 through 48.
Second.
All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Sherman in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. 233 Podunk Road, request for certificate of compliance. SEC number 21-06.
New single-family home with septic. Originally the house, a corner of the house and the septic were within jurisdiction. The house was designed to go out of the 200, was built to be out of the 200-foot buffer, so leaving just the septic. Valid Title V, no concerns. Recommendation to issue a certificate of compliance with perpetual conditions 46 through 48.
With regards to the project at 233 Podunk Road, SEC file number 21-06, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 46 through 48.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Sherman in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. 237 Podunk Road, request for certificate of compliance, DEP file number 300-1138.
This project is for a new single-family home with septic all within the jurisdictional area, all designed according to plan, with the exception the house was about 6 square feet smaller than what was originally designed. No concerns, site stable. Recommendation to issue a certificate of compliance with perpetual conditions 47 through 50.
Second. Oh, sorry.
With regards to the project at 237 Podunk Road, DP file number 300-1138, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 47 through 50.
I already second you.
Yeah, there you go, good.
All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Sherman in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
I was sleepy.
It's past 9 o'clock, Flora. Anything goes. Anything goes.
Old business. We talked about the weed killer. Discussion of 2024 climate law and future permitting process.
Is that still in?
So I'm gonna do this quick because there's gonna be more information that will come. But I think at this point, most people are familiar that there's new climate law coming in that's going to expedite the process of permitting for solar and to a degree take it out of local control for large projects, which are based on the size.
Is that a state law or is it a?
Yeah, state law. So it's part of the state's energy climate bill, trying to move forward.
Even
So-
if it overlaps with a wetland?
I thought Trump had it
So
changed so
it's-
fast.
So permits are still required, but it's going to be an expedited process. So large projects are anything greater than 25 megawatts. Small projects are anything less. The small projects would be more of what we see. There's not even a lot of space that a large project could really not ruling it out, but most likely it's gonna be small projects. With this new law that's coming into place, this puts it into a decision period of all permits from the town needing to be issued within 12 months. So similar to kind of what we had to do with 660 Main that had a 180-day time clock, that is planning review, conservation, building, electrical permits, everything within 12 months, or we all get overruled and it doesn't move forward. These also have to go through another screening process for the large profiles, but really the time crunches are going to be really strenuous for everyone because for the most part, all of these projects go through peer review, which also takes time. And it's also going to be one consolidated permit versus all of these separate permits that are kind of going in where they have to go through zoning, MassDOT, Chapter 91, and wetlands. Where with the new proposed process, well, not proposed, it's happening. The new, small projects go to a single application to the municipality where it also goes to zoning, wetland, and then any other permits, but it's one permit that gets submitted when the town clerk receives that application, stamps it in, that's when our 12-month clock starts. And we basically just need to hit the ground running. A downfall, well, one downfall of this project is the state likes to work faster than it likes to work with the municipalities. So this is coming into effect in, I believe, March, and municipalities are not prepared for it. There is no recommended model bylaw on how to adapt to this. So similar to what we just saw, what was that, last year, the year before with ADUs, when the state, last year, when the state said ADUs are now all by right and you all need to update your zoning bylaw, which we were not able to do in time because of where our town meeting falls. We're gonna be in a similar situation with this. This is gonna come out in March, our town meeting is April. We're not gonna have time to prepare new bylaws and regulations, so it's going to be an adjustment period, and once that time meeting comes, it's most likely going to be a special meeting next fall to try and catch up with this. We had a representative from Department of Energy Resources that came and spoke with all the department heads about just this process, and he's a liaison. They have different liaisons for different districts. A bonus for the one that was assigned to us is he's a former town planner, so he has a lot of understanding of zoning. And one thing that all of the department heads really stressed on is how small rural communities are being hit hard with solar. Instead of trying to redevelop and repurpose these densely developed areas and putting, solar parking garages or rooftop solar on, in the inner cities where it's really popular, they're all coming out here and deforesting land. Supposedly all this is trying to work to look at the projects. So as part of the pre-application process that they have to go through, the state is basically going to rank them of if this is a good project or a not good project from a 1 to 10. We asked the question of, well, what happens if you rate this as a 3? It still moves forward, and there really was not an answer of what happens if it gets a low rating from the state in the pre-application process. So that's one thing that we're all really confused about is, all right, the state's reviewed it and said it's not a great project, you give it a low rating, does it still move forward? And the town still has to approve it, and that's kind of where things are getting held up to.
So are they essentially saying we have to approve every project that comes through?
For the most part. Yeah.
We have no agency to deny it.
For the most part, no. It's going to be very, very hard to deny any solar project. We still have our 25-foot no buffer and our 50-foot no structure.
Okay.
Those still hold. But basically, we have to approve something.
But we can still condition to
Correct.
our design, our desire.
Yeah.
So,
But if they want to put it directly into wetland, then we can't approve it.
They would, yeah. That's one, then in that case, it's denied under the bylaw. So it's like the ADU, when that came out, that it still has to meet the setbacks.
Okay.
It's pretty much all that's gonna hold too.
Gotta love the state.
Yep. So,
I mean, I like solar, but,
there's so many other state actions that are going on right now too. There's the biodiversity goals that the governor has signed into effect that for 2030 trying to have biodiversity goals, which has been, I've gone to every informational session on that. There's another one on protection on wildlife too. And my question every single time is, how are all of these interacting with all the other things that you're pushing? How is this interacting with the push for green energy and all of this they're working on it and they're talking.
Never pay attention.
But there's a lot of concern and it all doesn't make
Everything's a
sense.
silo.
So be prepared for this. We'll provide more information as it can, but I just wanted everyone to kind of have an update on where we are here.
Okay, great.
Fun.
And if we can move to 24.
Next meeting is September 18th.
No, can we move to item number 24?
24. huh?
Or I guess 24 starts twice, my
Session of Big
apologies.
Alum
Yes.
Vegetation Management.
So, at the next meeting,
it's 18, right, September 18?
yeah, the next meeting, for the Barnacles Walk-In, where Mark Smith, who is the new president of the Big Alum Lake Association, he's requested to be on the agenda because he wants to talk to the commission about what's going on with the lakes and kind of his vision for the Lake Association, how he wants this to go, his approach to environmental practices versus how they've been done in the past. So just know that that's coming at the next meeting. Problems that they're dealing with currently, one, we discovered that when an order of conditions was issued last April, so a month prior to me starting, order of conditions was issued for the vegetation management. It never got recorded. They treated last year, order of conditions was never recorded. We also didn't receive an environmental report from what was done last year. Now there's a new consultant for this year, and Mark's been working with me to try and get all this update. They've gotten the order of conditions recorded at this point. But the current order of conditions states that a maximum of 40 acres can be treated. This year they treated 32. And there's been a lot of concern from the residents saying that it wasn't enough, that there's still weeds in the water, and that they want another treatment. I have spoken with the consultant who has basically unofficially advised against it, saying vegetation should be in lakes. Like you're not expecting to see sandy bottoms everywhere. And the residents are pushing that they want a second treatment. The way that I'm interpreting the order of conditions is maximum of 40 acres. It does not specifically say how many treatments they can do per year, but the way that I'm interpreting it is you have 8 acres left to treat. And I had heard from another resident that there are people on the lake that are just saying, well, if we can't do a second treatment, I'm just going to go out and buy a bottle of Dicot myself and treat it, which is not only prohibited under the bylaw, it is a $25,000 fine from federal fine, because it's a federal offense to apply Dicot on your own. And I really hope that nobody would actually consider doing that themselves. But there is a big riff right now with Big Alum between
And
the residents of the lake that are,
They
we
want to
want
all
nice
use
clean
Dicot.
lakes, and ones that don't. Or not they don't want clean lakes, that want to treat, and versus ones that are, saying we need to go back to the source of the issue, not trying to do more treating. But right now, I'm bringing this to the commission to discuss a second treatment in versus of how you, who all had to, I think everyone was here last April. So you all would have
If they just
decided.
put this Dicot in, then all the weeds will die, but they never will be able to swim in it either.
Right.
Do they know that?
So am I interpreting the order of conditions correctly that it was a maximum of 40 acres per season, or max of 40 acres per treatment with no limit on how many treatments could be applied for the year?
No, hell no.
That's-
Per season.
Okay, that's how I'm interpreting it.
Otherwise, you could do it weekly.
Right.
If you're interpreting it that way, and we would never approve that.
And for the commission to consider increasing that treatment, say we did it under emergency order, to issue an emergency order to treat an additional 10 acres, what would you need to justify that? What information would need to be presented to the commission to justify treating, say, another 32 acres again?
What's the problem? What's the alternative?
Problem is people see weeds in the lake.
What?
The problem is that people are seeing weeds in the lake.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah, but it's nature.
yeah.
Right.
So we know that there is a threshold. When you have like too much, you have eutrophication, like that is a detrimental impact on the lakes. Is it possible like to hire a,
I mean, they have a consultant, and the town also, SLAC just did their annual lake testing, that they do the sampling for all the lake. They're, currently in the lab to be analyzed, and we pay for that portion of it too.
and it's
So-
not justified?
Right.
Are
I mean,
there-
we're waiting to see those results back, but I mean, at this point, it's
Are they
Labor
weeds?
Day weekend.
Are the weeds also good for wildlife, for some fish?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So-
They are essential.
Then
Right.
that's a balance.
And I mean,
to
there
it.
are invasives. You're not going to completely eliminate an invasive aquatic plant from a lake.
No.
I'd love to, it's not going to happen. So, your
What about?
discussion today is, if I
Pulling
just
it
want to make
out.
sure that hand pulling is actually one of the better methods, especially when you're during the drawdown.
They can do that. Get
And even in
together.
our bylaw, it says that they can do it during drawdowns. But I wanted to, before I had said anything, I want to make sure that I'm interpreting the order of conditions correctly, that basically you've got 8 acres that you're allowed to treat for the rest of the year because you already used your 32.
Yeah.
That you were all here when that was decided, so I just want to make sure that I'm interpreting that correctly. When Mark comes next week, we can continue to talk about management of the lake and methods and everything too, but everyone agrees that I am interpreting that correctly?
100%.
Okay.
Because otherwise you have an infinite multiplier. That doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. Doesn't even pass any level of logic test.
Okay.
It might.
Huh?
It might.
Well,
So,
All right.
no vote required there, it was
yourself
just
into a
simple
pretzel.
discussion and verification that I'm considering this the right way. We'll discuss more with Mark next week. So from there, if I can move to agent update.
Sure.
Starting off with violations, 48 Bushnell got in trouble a while back for the additional vegetation that they were cutting back on, and they submitted a report that basically said that the plants that had been removed were primarily invasives with oriental bittersweet, Japanese honeysuckle, and Japanese knotweed, and that they are requesting to not do any grading or any other disturbance, but instead for a restoration plan, that they want to allow that area to recover and keep the invasive species at bay by facilitating natural vegetation and growth, especially in native ferns, prevent reestablishment of the invasives, and avoid any unnecessary soil disturbance to maintain the ecology, which is better for disturbing. And then generally just comply. So this is what they're proposing here, of planting sensitive fern and cinnamon fern, which would do great in that area and provide great habitat. And then other than that, just leaving it alone and managing the invasives. I'm comfortable with this considering what was removed and from where it was removed. So I'm fine with this plan. So my recommendation would be to issue a wetland bylaw letter permit that basically has them planting these with a 1-year monitoring period to ensure that they survive and no further disturbance to the site.
I'd like to see this site. No, you
You want to
know,
go back out?
yeah. Back out, see what they've done.
Okay. So I can add that to the next site visit schedule. Okay, perfect. Anyone else have any comments? All right. The other enforcement issue was 118 lead mine, that everything had been undone from the previous restoration plan that was completed a year ago, and they added a shed and they were gonna seed and loam, and at this point, I think that we supply them with the restoration plan that the commission had approved, that Glenn Kravosky had designed, that the previous homeowner, Gary, what was his name? The interim DPW, that he had to implement, and say, this is the plan the last homeowner had to do that you undid.
On
This
Gary's
is what we
old
want.
house?
Gary's old house, the one further down, closer
Yeah,
to
close
Toby's.
to the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it undid all of that, which, you know, some people were very upset about because hundreds of dollars were spent to do that restoration in the first place, and then it was essentially just undone.
Yeah.
So that's how I would like that to be, is just the same exact plan that was already approved and what should have been, and removing the shed that is in that area. And if they want to get a shed,
Yeah.
then they have to come back and get a plan and get that approved separately.
Yeah.
Okay. Other updates. Fisk Hill, we've had, that's kind of just been in a limbo phase for a little while, but I've got, apparently we had a survey that was done, and they're gonna go, and that kind of just fell off in between losing agents and whatnot. So I was able to get in hold of Sherman and Frederick. They're gonna go back out and pin it and finalize that. And also Conservation Works is going to do a baseline documentation report for that property too, so that way we can move forward. There's still a bunch of unattended items for complying with that since it was purchased with CPC funds. The conservation restriction hasn't been put on and all these other things, so I'm trying to just get that moving, and money was already approved a couple years ago. Same with Plimpton, there's money set aside for a master plan, and we're finally able to move forward and get that going. Which Plimpton is your conservation property, so once we kind of move forward with that, we'll be able to kind of present these plans and
Fisk
give you
Hill under the
updates.
selectmen.
Fisk Hill's under selectmen.
Yeah.
But the baseline documentation will show the wetland lines too,
Yeah.
which are
No, I
gonna be really
wasn't- I
great
wasn't-
when it comes to permitting with trails, and I've been working with Brandon for that too. Next year, lead mines plans expire, the forest management plan. So this year, I need to, or I'm going to go to community preservation to request money for a new plan, because that's gonna have to get done next year, but I have to ask for money for this upcoming town meeting to get that done. There was a forest cutting plan. This is land owned by the Conservation Commission, so this is something that, once we get that moving forward, that it's gonna have to be a discussion of what you would like to see with this property, if we want to do another forest cutting plan, or just having a management plan. When we were learning about different types of forest management plans, there was the carbon climate one, and I think that might be a good property for it, of trying to just get maximum nitrogen from that property. So this is something that's going to be coming forward, and within the next few months, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna be coming forward for a request for a letter of support to present to community preservation on requesting funds to support that project for the next town meeting.
You ought to give Penny a ring,
I'm already in touch with her.
okay?
Yeah.
Because there are
We have a
some,
whole- I have
some
to-
things,
Yep. Elisa
Maintenance.
just sent me a whole list of things that they need for their report, and a lot of this is in a part of that. So I've already been on top of it, and I've already been talking to Penny and Elisa, so, yeah. There is a ribbon cutting for the River Road parking lot on September 27th at 10 a.m. There was one originally at the beginning of the summer, and it got rained out, so if anyone would like to attend, I will send a reminder as it gets closer, but 10 a.m. on the 27th. On August 12th, we hosted the Simple Solutions Seminar for landowners. We had about 12 people that showed up for it. But we went over all different things, including alternatives to using herbicides, pesticides, fertilizers. We talked about stormwater, invasive plants, invasive species, pollinators, water conservation. The overall feel that we got from the people in attendance is there's a lot of concern for water quality in town, for well water and public water, which is obviously interests of the Wetland Protection Act and things that we work really hard to recognize. But I also think that it's great that the community is becoming aware of how important these things are. So I think moving forward, things that we're trying to do to protect will, will be supported by our community, seeing how that's such an important thing right now. With that, we're also officially launching the town's rain barrel program. So right now you can go on Great American Rain Barrel Company, click the town of Sturbridge, and you can purchase a rain barrel from anywhere from $80 to $89. The pickup date is going to be Tuesday, October 7th at the DPW. If you can't pick it up then, you can figure another day. But the town does not get any money in it. It just kind of helps promote water conservation in town. So this is a great thing for everyone to take advantage of. The rain barrel's at the end of the hallway. There's different colors, but all the information is on there on how to order it and participate, and it's on the town's website. Overall, this is a great thing for everyone. It helps us comply with our MS4 and stormwater permits. So we kind of soft launched it at that, and then this past Sunday, Heather and I had a tent set up at the farmer's market, and we were talking to residents and getting contact information for everyone that was interested, and we've gotten great response so far. So if any of you are interested, the cutoff date is going to be that Saturday or Sunday, September 28th to order them. But tell your friends, your neighbors, you do not have to be 80 to 89. And that's got the spigot and overflow, a mosquito net. You can buy the attachment kits separately or just buy them at Walmart. You do not have to be a Sturbridge resident to go through this. You just have to pick it up in Sturbridge. So tell everyone you know. This is a great thing for everyone, and especially when we're doing new projects and we're telling people about this. We're going to do another push in the spring where people can order it. But this is a great thing to help us work too, that, hey, you're building this new house, you should participate in the town's rain barrel program to help capture some of that runoff, improve water quality that's going into our town systems, that's going into well water, that's going into lake water, and it helps cut your cost of your water bill because you're reusing that.
My son take a shower with it. He takes
Yeah. I mean, it is coming off.
too long shower.
It is coming off of your roof, so whatever's up on your roof is coming down. But water your garden, wash your car.
I do.
My son doesn't want to shower,
Yeah.
so.
I bet you that
When-
you could
when
look
Chef is-
online and there's some type of
I'm
filter
not-
that you
not
could put
kidding
on
you,
it
water bill is at
to
least
make it a
$300-400
house shower or something. On October 18th, the next meeting, I'm putting forward a special use application to hold a pumpkin walk carving contest on October 18th at the Riverlands Half Mile Loop. I got money from STA last night to get that going, so this can kind of be like a new annual thing that we go on, but it really does kind of help promote our open space. We have a lot of great trail users, but this also kind of will do a little bit more to help bring people out and get them kind of recognizing of how much open space we do have in Sturbridge. So I'm excited to get that going. And then we're starting to, with town meeting and everything approaching very quickly, starting to take a look at bylaw review, specifically to stormwater and what we can do to kind of help make water cleaner that's coming from runoff and from development, especially for raise and rebuilds or demos and new construction on the lake. Just something, and I've mentioned it before, just trying to get that backbone support. So entering that. And then lastly, one item I'm not asking for action tonight, but one item that I'd like the commission to consider right now, for town projects, we don't require the local fees. So those fees get waived for town projects, whether it's rec or DPW. I would requesting that we consider if lakes can fall under that category because we are, we're the owner of the dams. We're responsible for all these as a harbor master. Just to a degree, lessen a burden on the lake residents when they're filing. They'll still have to pay other fees and consultant fees to get NOIs filed for vegetation management plans and lake drawdowns, but I'd like the commission to consider if that can fall under town projects where we can provide anywhere from $500 to $1,000 of relief to the lake associations, because we are giving them money. There's money that comes out of the conservation department budget for the lakes. There's money that comes out of betterment for the lakes. So it's kind of just coming back around, that if we can kind of provide that little bit of relief, because also all these consultant fees are getting a lot more expensive too. So.
Stop using Daiquat. Flora would absolutely vote for that.
So.
But aren't these lake owners paying into the lake association too, or?
Yes. But if they, say Big Alum needs to amend for their order of conditions, which they most likely do. They have to notify their abutters and they have to pay for the legal ad. That right there is, that number of abutters, probably close to $1,500. And if we can save them that amendment fee, which for an amendment, it's only $50, but it's just something that we can kind of cut to help alleviate some of that. Not everybody on lakes are in the same tax bracket, and that does cause some reluctance and some hesitance because there are people that only live on it seasonally and, versus ones that live full-time. So, like I said, I'm not requesting action today, but just something to consider to see if for the projects that actually contain the body of water or the dam, if we can consider putting that in that same category as a town ownership, because we also, Robin has to sign the notice of intents for all of those too as a property owner. So just throwing that out there for something to consider. Other than that, there's a whole list of minutes to review, and the agenda copies that I put in front of you have who can and cannot vote. And please don't forget to, as we're jumping around, schedule site inspection dates for the next meeting, which as of right now, the only one that we have is the new NOI for the Big Alum drawdown. Or no, Cedar Lake drawdown, not Big Alum.
Okay.
So, minutes.
I think I made all of these, so I think I'm good, but,
Yep.
I have to abstain from the first.
Yep, Karsten has to abstain from the first two, and Flora has to abstain from July 17th.
yeah, I don't have that on.
July 8th I made, right? I was
I
in,
gave, put two.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes
No, it's
from
not.
June 26, 2025.
Well, let's do them all.
All right. Well, yeah, do we have enough vote? No, because.
No.
I have to abstain.
Karsten has to abstain from the first two.
No,
Flora has to
the
abstain.
first, July 8th, wasn't I in Providence on?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve all of the minutes where we attended.
Okay.
But
do we need a majority of the board, or do we just need a majority? For
It's
minutes?
just a really complicated vote, because that's the three of you for
Wait a
the
minute.
first two, the three of you for the,
July 8th was, no, July 8th I.
Yeah, so that's not complicated.
July 8th was the site visit for Kerboy, which was a public meeting.
Okay, I missed that.
So it's, yeah,
So I
It's just kinda
approve,
confusing.
I approve of all of them.
okay,
I approve of all
approved
of
it.
them.
I approved the second two.
okay,
I approve all except July 17.
okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Karsten, take us home.
No, can we pick a date
I-
for site inspections if they're needed? Well, you want to go to 48 Bush now, so that would be one.
Wait, Carson, you said you're doing the second one in which one? The
So
third?
Yeah,
it's July
he can't do
17
July.
and August 7.
Yeah.
Well, you
July
can or
17th.
you can't?
I approve.
You approve the 8th and the 17th?
Nope.
17th.
No, no, there's July 17 and
17th
the
and
August 7.
7th.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm teaching Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, so I cannot do mornings those days anymore.
You're teaching Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
So
So I can do only Mondays and Fridays.
All right, Monday?
Or Fridays.
I can do both Monday and Friday. How about you?
Monday the 8th?
All right.
Monday, the 8th.
Of September?
I could probably, Fridays is simple, but Monday I can probably do. Yep.
Monday, the 8th of September.
I'm in Venice.
Well, you can, phone in, okay?
He's fancy.
And before that, I'm in Dubrovnik.
Traveler.
I'm on sabbatical. So
I know, I was on sabbatical last year, I
Monday-
didn't go anywhere.
Monday, the 8th
I
is
went to
fine.
Ghana.
how does it go
Right
actually?
now.
Go-
You never
coming
know what's
back
gonna change.
hard,
All right.
So hard.
Yep.
We can have
Got
like
it.
first classes
I
this week.
can't,
All right,
I don't
now-
miss it at the moment.
Sorry. Monday, which day?
The 8th?
The 8th.
Monday.
Karsten, take us home.
I will, yeah.
Send
I
us.
move to adjourn the meeting.
The 8th?
Second.
All in favor?
I agree, yes.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
So how, Monday 8th?
Monday, September 8th?
Okay.
Yeah.
But by the way, is there an easier way of, if we don't want to approve or something like that, if that's lot is unbuildable? They went through a lot of in lead mine.
I think, well, yeah.
Is the meeting adjourned?
I wanted to let you talk
Is the meeting adjourned? Okay.
Meeting is.